So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day one, session one of the Irish Senior Championships 2023. Please put your hands together and give this morning's officials a big round of applause as they march out of the tent. Thank you very much, everybody. Here they come. So, good morning, everybody. Referee this morning, Mr. Taylor. Thank you very much, Matt. And Mary Goodman, thank you, Mary. Our starters this morning are Michael Murray, thank you very much, Michael. And also Mark Wilson, who's over at the far end of the ball. Thank you very much, Mark. We do need to be a Santa, so officials can take your seats. So we're going to get our first event this morning, is the 400 Ironman men's. We will then have a women's 200 backstroke. Next event is men's 200 freestyle, women's 200 freestyle. We will then have 100 breaststroke men and women, and then 400 freestyle relays and men and women also. We'll do a quick sound check, and then our first event this morning will be the men's 400 Ironman. 84 and 6, and we will be recruiting to this 4 Ironman this morning.
Morning and welcome to the National Aquatic Centre here in Dublin for the Irish Youth and Senior Summer Nationals. I'm delighted to be joined by former swimmers David Thompson and India McGlynn. David, good morning.
Morning, Kieran. How are you?
I'm very well. David, give us a prediction of what you expect over the next 5 days.
Yeah, well, this competition is, the culmination of a whole year of training. 5-day meet. Used to be a 4-day meet. Now it's a 5-day meet. A lot of these swimmers we haven't made international competitions. European Championships, World Championships, European Under-23s, Youth Commonwealths, European Juniors, whatever it might be. This is their final meet of the season to try and, cap off a great season. So they'll be looking for fast times, and there's always a bit of buzz around this competition, India will know, because it's the last one of the summer. So really looking forward to it. India, what do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of these swimmers are going to be looking forward to kind of their last competition before they settle down for kind of more of a relaxation period coming into August now before they get going again in September. We've had some fast swimming at our international competitions as well, so over in Japan at the moment and also at EYOF as well. So a lot of these swimmers have been watching that swimming over the past week or two, so I'd say they're buzzing to get going themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a really good crowd here in the National Aquatic Centre, and excitement, as you say, is building. And the first races we have here this morning are the men 15 and over 400 metre. Talk us through what you think is going to be the standard of competition in this race. And in the first heat, we're starting with heat 4 of 6. Who you think might be the people to look out for?
Well, definitely if we have all the names coming in heat number 6, we've got Jack Casson going in lane number 4 in heat number 6. So the last competition we had Jack breaking multiple junior records, so he's really definitely one to look out for. 400 metre IM is a grueling race, so it's 100 metres of each stroke, so starting with butterfly, moving on to back roll, then on to breaststroke, and then on to front crawl. Usually what you will see is that you'll kind of see a nice strong fly leg, keeping it maintained within the back roll, but it's usually the breaststroke leg that kind of dominates the field then after that. Would you agree, David?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the most grueling event on the programme, the men's or women's 400 medley. So like India said, we're looking out for Jack Casson here. He'll be chilling the heats this morning. He broke the Irish senior record a few months ago in a 4:22.5, I think it was. Yeah, 4:22.5. So he'll be looking to potentially bring that down to a sub 4:20, really bring that 400 medley mark down.
And when you're coming into a race like this, David, with such a good performance behind you and breaking records, do you think that's an added pressure, or is that just something he'll embrace?
Something he'll embrace, because I think that there's no pressure here at this competition. You know, he's realistically he's going to win. Nobody's going to touch him. He's 15 seconds clear of the field, pretty much. So he's going to win. So it's all about the time for him. Be a bit disappointed not to have made World Championships. I'm not sure if he's on the European under 23 team. He might be. In a few weeks, that's taking place here in Dublin. But we're moving on here. Very first event, the men's 400 metres individual medley. Of course, they're splitting the heats here. So the fastest heats are going to be in the morning because there's so many swimmers entered. They split the heat session, so the fastest half heats will go in the morning, and then there's a middle session, and that'll be the slower heats, and then the finals tonight. So 3 heats just.
Well, thank you for that, David. Well, we'll go through the swimmers in the first heat of the day. It's heat 4 of 6, as David was alluding to there. We've just had so many entries that they've had to split the heats. So we're working a bit like Star Wars. We're going 4, 5, and 6 before 1, 2, and 3 later on. So, all right. So let's just take a look at the swimmers and the lanes. So we might just start with yourself, David. Lane 1.
Yeah. So running down the list here, we've got from Hamilton Aquatics in lane 0, Kutlu. We've got Kushka in lane number 1, Pickett in 2, Ben Merrigan of 3 from Dolphin, David Coyle of the Aer Lingus swimmer in 4, Thomas Price 5, Ian Garvey in lane number 6. Next to him is Owen Walsh from Sunday as well. The Ballymena swimmer Cody Lau is in lane number 8, and lane number 9 it's Killian Kavanagh of Aer Lingus. So tough one to start this, the 400 medley. We're still waiting for a few technical problems here. I think we're meant to start at 8:45, but that's going to be slightly late.
All right, and India, just looking through the swimmers and just looking through the times, it seems as David Coyle would be the favourite for this heat. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, so we've got David Coyle from Aer Lingus there taking lane number 4, so he has an entry time of 5:06.42. So Aer Lingus are a great club kind of for more the endurance events. You'll see a lot of them doing the kind of longer distance freestyle events and also kind of maybe the longer distance IM events as well. So we know that their head coach Alan Turner, you know, he specialises in these kind of endurance events. So I'm sure David has been training very hard for this 400 metre IM, and I'm sure he'll be looking to break that 5-minute mark here in the heat swim.
All right, okay, so we should have a very exciting heat for the first one coming up. It's the heat 4 of 6, as we've said. And just, I suppose, with the first race of the competition, and now there's a little bit of a pushback and that kind of thing, do you think there's any kind of added pressure on the swimmers before they start? Because obviously the first race or the first in any competition or the first game in any competition is always probably a little bit more pressurised because you're the first one.
It's probably not added pressure. Like a lot of these swimmers, but now it's coming into their final competition. They've had a lot of experience throughout the year. Now some of them, again, like it might be maybe their first nationals, but we are kind of starting off with the faster heat. So I'd say a lot of these swimmers, they are a little bit more experienced than maybe we have the swimmers coming into the afternoon session. So as long as they know just to stay calm, stay relaxed, you know, stay kind of in their race mode, keep their clothes on, keep their muscles warm, and then once they're ready to go, that's when they just start pepping themselves up. So hopefully they're kind of just sitting back in the call room now and they just know how to settle themselves.
And it's obviously an early start because although the swimming starts at 8:45, you have to be up much earlier than that, breakfast, preparation. How do you manage something like that coming into a competition like this? Although the final one of the year, and although very experienced swimmers, how do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, it's no change to what you usually do. The key to swimming well at any competition or in any sport, is not doing anything different when it comes to race day or the day of a match. If you're a soccer or a football player, so these swimmers, a lot of swimmers will be staying in hotels, beds they're not used to, breakfast they're not used to, things like that. So it's all about just keeping it the same, keeping it your routine as sound and as clean as possible. But day one of a day 5 meet, you just got to kind of ride the wave and just enjoy it. So swimmers coming out now for the first heat here.
Yeah. All right. So as David has said, we have the swimmers just making their final preparations now and getting ready before they enter the pool for the first time, most probably this week. So we'll just run through the lanes for you one last time. So in lane 0, Aros Kutlu. In lane 2, David Kroska. So we're just about to get ready to go here. Lane 3, Ben Merrigan. 4, David Coyle. 5 is Thomas Price. And the run, David, I'll let you take it here.
Yeah, men's 400 metres individual medley heat. So they're going to really kind of chill this first kind of 100 metres of this 400 metres individual medley. These swimmers, looks like lane number 3 has had a real good start. Ben Merrigan of Dolphin, so key to keep this butterfly really smooth. It's a real distance, grueling, long event, so you got to pace yourself. The breaststroke will be key. So expect the lead to change a number of times unless Merrigan can keep this pace up. He's out in a 29.56. So yeah, this is, like I said, a very tough event. A lot of these swimmers will do a lot of meters, a lot of yardage in their programs to have a crazy high aerobic capacity to be able to swim 8 lengths of all the 4 different strokes. So the minute it is Merrigan.
Well, Merrigan's been caught there, I think, by is it Aina Garvey in lane 6, and in the middle lanes in 4 and 5, David Coyle and Thomas Price starting to catch too. So this turn will be very interesting here.
Yeah, early days yet on this 400 metres individual medley. The flies, like I said, you just set it up. The backstroke key that you don't drop that tempo. You'll see a lot of sort of rates. So the stroke rate, for those of you that don't know, is the amount of stroke cycles you take per minute. So basically the speed that your arms move. So you'll be able to see really, really vividly which swimmer's stroke rate is dropping. You can see lane number 3, Merrigan's picked up the stroke rate quite a lot in comparison to Price in lane number 5. India, what do you think?
Yeah, you can see that lane number 3 there, Ben Merrigan, he definitely takes the first 50 quite hard and then maybe relaxes into that second 50, because in the first 50 of the fly he was leading by about 2.5 seconds over the field, but then coming back into that second 50, he kind of like leveled off the field. But like you said, he's really taken out that first 50 of the backstroke nice and hard. But we've also got that Lisbon swimmer in lane number 5 just holding on to his shoulders here, but he's looking strong. The stroke rate is staying nice and relaxed. We've spoken about it before on back roll, where you need to keep your head as still as possible and just let the arms do all the work, get that nice strong kick. But like you said before, David, it's the breaststroke leg that's going to really show who's going to dominate this field in the heat number 4.
All right, so Merrigan has the advantage as we approach the halfway mark, and closing in on him in lane number 5 is Thomas Price. David Coyle a little bit behind them in lane number 4. And they're just over halfway here, India. If you were out there now and you were in the lead, what would you just be saying to yourself? Just keep the focus, keep doing what you're doing?
Pretty much, yeah. So a lot of these swimmers are going to have different kind of tactics when it comes to their 400 AM. Some people are leaders and some people are catchers. So you might see some people now on the breaststroke leg and they'll see the people in front of them. It's a lot easier to see on a breaststroke stroke where they see people in front of them, so they might be able to change up their stroke rate a little bit more and just try and catch them here. So again, we can kind of see that in lane number 5. The Lisbon swimmer is definitely pulling up here on Merrigan in lane number 3. But you also can see here throughout the field that there's a variety of different breaststroke strokes. So again, breaststroke is kind of the one stroke in a 400 metre IM where you'll see who's going to pull forward, and whoever really touches first on this breaststroke, this second 50 on the breaststroke leg, if they can maintain that for the 100 front crawl, they know that they might take this heat.
All right, okay, so we have a bit of a change in the lead here now, and there's more advancement in the middle lanes. And Thomas going well. Merrigan trying to just catch him back up. And there's also been advances from Coyle. And David, is getting very interesting now.
Yeah, this is the gauntlet part of the race now. We've got Price and Garvey sort of slaughtering it out here onto this last 100 metres. This is where the pain kicks in. It's where you have to go to your leg kick. Well, it's all about fitness. It's all about fitness here and grit and determination. Lane number 5, Thomas Price of Lisburn, coached by Stan Shepherd up in Northern Ireland. So he's looking really nice. You see that long, if you look at the swimmer in the red hat, that is Price ahead. He's got, if the camera pan around a bit, there we go. Look how much he's reaching out in front, keeping that head really low as he breathes. Just trying to eliminate any unnecessary up and down movement. But I'll tell you what, lane number 4, Coyle is giving it a go.
So as we approach the last 50 metres, it's a straight shootout here. It looks to be between Coyle and Price. Coyle in lane 4, Price in lane 5, and they're going neck and neck. I think it's Coyle is just starting to come a little bit ahead, but Price is hanging in there, and it's going to be a really interesting finish now as they approach the last 20 metres. Coyle and Price, but as Coyle is starting to pull away now, probably a length, half a length in it. It's still Coyle, with Price making up good ground. Merrigan has totally fallen away, the early leader, and it looks as if, David, it's going to be Coyle who takes this one in the first race of the morning.
Yeah, good swim, David Coyle, 5:02.26. That's a good 4-second best time for him, I think. So he'll be happy with that. Just as Kieran alluded to there, lane number 3, Merrigan fell off a wee bit, just maybe too much effort in that fly leg. So, you know, you saw with lane number 4 there, Coyle, he just had the most highest stroke rate, highest leg kick. So, good swims all around. Thomas Price hung on for the second. So all these swimmers will be looking to maybe get back tonight for finals. We've only got 3 heats of this morning, so expect the times to get a lot quicker now. Yeah, we'll see a lot of sub 5 minutes, a lot of sub 5 minutes. Fastest swimmer is down at 4:33 on this one. Heat number 2.
All right, so we're about to get underway in the second heat, and we are underway. So again, another 400 metres of, as the guys are describing here, grueling swimming, 4 different strokes. And as we saw there, India, from the very first race, it's just a real endurance battle, this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like David was saying there, I think Ben Merrigan maybe in that first kind of 100 fly, he was just like too excited to get in and start racing, and maybe just took it a little bit too strong, because he was a strong swimmer, but maybe just like it is an endurance event and it might have just gone out a little bit too hard. So it is, these swimmers need to know to take it out tactical. We spoke about it in previous competitions where they need to take out on easy speed, so they want to go out fast, but they don't want to be putting too much effort in the first kind of 100, 200 metres, just making sure that they're kind of sticking to their race tactics. But like we say, we have lane number 4 here. We've got Ronan Kilcoyne of Sligo. He's really taken out hard in this first 100 metres. But he is our fastest qualifier into this event with a 4:33.91. So we knew he was going to take it out a good bit faster than this previous heat.
Yeah, all right. Well, in the lanes, in lane 0, it's Conor Lanigan. In 1, Alex Barrett. 2, Emmett Cousins. 3, Rohaven Tolba. 4 is Ronan Kilcoyne. 5, Ronan Fahy. 6, Cormac Donnellan. 7 is Alexander Foshke. 8 is Cormac Farron, and 9 Ben Wilson. So David, what are you seeing from the early exchanges here?
Yeah, like I said, Kilcoyne, the Sligo swimmer, class of his own in this heat. He's almost 10 seconds faster than the rest of the field on entry time alone, so expect him to really pull away here. Seems a lot bigger than the other swimmers as well, but a lot of these other swimmers beside him in lanes 6, 5, 3 and 2, they'll all be trying to swim off him. You know, India will tell you, a lot of great swims that I had, that India probably had, was when you're swimming next to someone so much faster than you, they lift you to another level. So they're not letting them away with it too easy here. So I'm liking the backstroke of lane number 6, Donlan. He's creeping up there nicely with a little bit more of a leg kick, but you got to remember, this is only the heat. There's no medals awarded here, so Kilcoyne probably just taking out that fly leg just to set his pace, and he's going to shut it off for the rest of the 300 because he knows he's going to get back for finals tonight.
Yeah, and as you say, good swimming so far. It's very evenly contested there in the middle lanes again. Well balanced, and as they head into the next part of the race, it's starting to heat up with 2 in the middle and going well. And you were speaking there just about Kilcoyne from Sligo, and probably another Sligo swimmer did really well last week in competition abroad.
Yeah, so he's looking really strong here. The breaststroke's a funny one on this 400 metres individual medley. You've got to keep the length of the stroke. You'll want to tighten up, you'll want to shorten up, and like India knows, very, very individual stroke. Breaststrokers, you wouldn't get a lot of breaststrokers if they're specialty breaststrokers from other strokes, so that's why it's hard in the medley. So, but it's all about getting back to the finals tonight, which Kilcoyne will most definitely do.
Well, Kilcoyne's going well, and Fahy is next on his heels, followed there by Donlan. So it's going in lane 4, 5 and 6. That's your 1, 2, 3 at the minute. And Donlan just starting to extend his lead a little bit. Fahy trying to do his best to catch him. And it'll be the two Ronans as we approach the next turn. Going well in this second heat of the morning session. And India, it's Kilcoyne who is leading from Fahy.
Yeah, so we just have Kilcoyne there turning on a 3:33.98. So he's going to need to come back in a sub 60 if he wants to be breaking his PB that he's come in on a 4:33. Might not do that this morning, but again, he probably is. He looks like he's cruising here, so I guess he knows that he's got a final swim now this evening. He's taken it out really, really well. I'm guessing some of his specialty strokes are probably the fly and the breaststroke. Really taking them out nice and hard. He gained, well, the rest of the field kind of gained that little bit of distance on him on that back roll, so maybe that's the one leg that he can work on now coming into the final session if he does make the final. But yeah, he just looks like he's cruising it here now in this last 50, bringing in a little bit of a leg kick here so he can secure himself a good time now for the final.
Yeah, and Kilcoyne in 4 and Fahy in 5, they just look to be really just swimming their way into the finals quite comfortably. How do you feel Donlan's going in lane 6?
Yeah, he's really giving it a go here in lane number 6, that red cap there, so he clearly knows that he needs to kind of swim off these last two swimmers coming into the final 15 metres, say, so he's really putting his head down, kicking those legs hard. So we have the final, the top three swimmers coming in lane 4, lane number 5 and lane number 6, so that is Ronan Kilcoyne, Ronan Fahy and Cormac Donlan of Glenalbin finishing strong.
And that heat seemed to be a little bit quicker than the previous heat, so interesting already.
Yeah, we already have 4 swimmers kind of sub that 5-minute mark, and the 5th swimmer coming in from New Ross, that's Emma Cousins, he's just hit that 5-minute mark as well. So all 5 of those swimmers have gone faster than that previous heat, our fastest time in the previous heat of a 5:02. So I'm sure once we'll get these next heats, next swimmers in, heat number 6, we'll have 10 more swimmers going in there, then we'll know who's going to make the final session this evening.
All right, okay, so in the third of our heats here, we have already tipped, well, the professionals have tipped Jack Casson in lane 4. He's flanked either side there in lane 3 by Adam Wilson and in lane 5 by Daniel Cheboyjan. So the third of 6 heats in the men's 15 and over 400 has just begun.
I expect Jack Casson to have the best swim here. He's a 200-metre butterfly specialist as well, so expect his fly to be really, really strong. But I would expect him not to be going full ham on this one. Just getting through to the final, feeling the stroke. This is the first morning of this 5-day competition, so he'll just be trying to get into the meet nicely on this heat swim. No pressure, but he looks to be going a wee bit. He's out in a 27.0, which is moving, but Casson with that sort of weird, stranger kind of bent arm stroke coming through. You'll see a lot if you look at the rest of the field. A lot of the swimmers, as their arms recover on this butterfly, they're straight, but his arms come over a little bit bent. But like the famous Chandler Close, South African swimmer, Olympic champion in 2012, swam a little bit like that. Jack not as fast as him yet. 59.0, that's a good start for Jack. Came back on a 31.9 there, so expect him to shut it off a wee bit in this backstroke. And the field shouldn't be able to live with him here.
Yeah, and as you had said earlier on, David, he swam a 4:22 earlier on, so he'll probably be trying to obviously beat that, go a little bit quicker than that again, and so he's made a really good start at attempting to go quicker than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm unsure. I think he might be going to the European Under-23 Championships in a few weeks, so he may not be targeting this meet. He may be targeting that in 2 weeks' time, I think it is. It's here in Dublin. So, yeah, swimmers, for those of you who don't know, they'll train all year and they'll go through a sort of peaking phase called taper to prepare them for, a big competition as this or whatever it might be. and that's what we'll try and get their best out of it. You can't swim fast at every single meet. You've got to target specific ones, so it'd be more likely that he would be targeting that than this meet. So, but he's still a class ahead anyway. Having a good swim in lane number 3 as well, Adam Wilson at Banbridge. But all these swimmers just trying to get back for tonight. 400 medley is a really grueling event. You don't want to be going full 100% in the heat and final if you can avoid it, because it takes so much out of you.
Yeah, and maybe for some of the slower swimmers in the heat India, as David's saying there, you want to just get back for the final tonight, but maybe if you're not one of the quicker ones, you have to just really bust the gut to try and make the final. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword.
Absolutely, swimmers need to learn how to swim both in morning sessions and in final sessions as well. So, like even in regards to some of our international swimmers, when they travel away to different meets and that, they need to know different time zones, so they need to be able to like actually perform at both morning and final sessions. So, yeah, for some of the stronger swimmers, they know that they can take it a little bit more relaxed, maybe coming into these heat swims, but. Like all swimmers need to learn that they have to be able to perform in both morning and final sessions. So some of the swimmers that are coming in some of these outside lanes, they are going to have to put that into practice and really just give it their all in this like morning swim. So like we spoke about it beforehand, they need to have everything on form. So David spoke about, sleeping in a different bed, having different breakfast, all that kind of stuff. They need to make sure that everything is still on point for them so they can still perform at their best in morning swims as well.
Absolutely, and it's still Casson in lane 4 who leads us here. And in lane 3, going well from Banbridge, is Adam Wilson. They're well in front of the rest of the chasing pack at the minute, but making ground in lane 5 is Chebosian. But it's still Casson who leads as we make the turn, followed on closely by Wilson. And really it is Jack Casson and Adam Wilson who are they're well in front of the rest of the field at the minute.
Absolutely. I think, like David said before, Jack's probably not targeting this meet as his main meet for the summer. He's got that European under-23s coming up in a couple of weeks, but it will be a good indicator to see how that taper is going for him so far, and if he's on form. So he looks very comfortable, he looks very relaxed. Already at that 300 metre mark, he's about 6 seconds ahead of our previous heat. So he's doing really, really well. And we've got Adam as well coming in, Adam Wilson from Banbridge. Again, he's looking like he's cruising here, kind of just coming into this last 50. Might give a little bit of a stronger kick, finishing strong. But I think we'll be watching these two swimmers in the final session this evening.
All right, well, he looks as if he's going to beat the previous heat winner in 4:39.34, and it will be the favourite pick, Jack Casson, in lane 4, who takes this one. And Casson has done it in 4:30.97. And coming in there in second place in lane 3 is Adam Wilson. And in lane 5, it looks to be Cheboyan, followed in lane 6 by Ben Morgan. So,
yeah, good easy swim there for Casson. 4:30.9. About 8 seconds slower than his Irish senior record, so he'll probably challenge that a wee bit tonight. We'll see. Doesn't look too out of breath somehow after 400 medley. I'd be asking the race referee to call an ambulance if I swam that. There's confirmation of results. Adam Wilson, saw he had a Loughborough swimming hat on there in a 4:40. And then Danilo Chubian in third, 4:44. Moving on now to the women's 200 metres backstroke, Kieran.
Yeah, so it's the second event of the morning. It's the women's 200 metre backstroke. And in lane 0, Sarah Gleeson. Lane 1, Erin Robinson. Oh, my apologies, sorry, this is one of the cancelled heats, so apologies, it's 8 of 13. So Alex Harrington, lane 1, Ava Rock in 2, Annabelle Farrington Knight in 3, Kaylin Walsh in 3, Carrie Harrington 4, Zoe Steins 5, Holly Robson 6, Jenna Hayes 7, Evelyn Holland in 8, and Emer Todd in 9.
Yeah, straight in women's 100 metres backstroke. The faster heats. Oh, someone's grabbing his hat there. Lane number 3. That's why I got a bit of a delay. Hat must have came off during the race. Nightmare.
How much of an impact would that have on you, losing a hat?
See, I only swam sprint events, so my race was over so quickly. But it wouldn't change too much probably in the event, because I think you're so in the zone that you don't really. Yeah, you don't really know. But here we go, women's 200 metre backstroke, heat 1.
Yeah, so if you're joining us late there, as the guys were saying earlier on, we've just had so many entries that some of the heats have been changed. So, as you might have heard, I was reading heat 1 of 13, but we're actually starting on heat 8 of 13. So, the girls are in the pool in India. What's your thoughts on this race?
So we have 5 heats going this morning. So we just took a little bit of time transitioning between the 400 IM and the 200 back roll. That's just to allow the ledges to go into the water. So you just saw the girls start there. So they've popped their feet up on ledges just to get that proper back roll start. It's a great new addition into swimming here. But the 200 metre backstroke, I think David and I spoke about it in previous competitions. Probably one of the only races that neither of us swam, to be honest. It's definitely is still a grueling event itself. Definitely really, really difficult on the legs. They have to keep a strong leg kick on this 200 metre backstroke. 200 metres has definitely kind of gone from more of a mid-distance event to a sprint event now. So a lot of these girls are going to have to kind of change up their training and really do a lot of pace work when it comes to back roll here. But basically what you're looking for on a back roll event, particularly in a 200, is keeping your head nice and steady, starting off with a strong stroke rate, but that you can like pick up on the last like third 50 with their like kind of last 75 metres maybe, and then a really strong leg kick as well. So you can see that from a couple of these girls here. Lane number 1 taking it strong, Ava Rock from New Ross. So you can see she's got a nice steady head position there, and you know she's kind of going out maybe with a slower stroke rate than she'll pick up in this second 100 as well.
And when you're talking there, Indy, about it going more into a sprinting event, is that just with the evolution of the swimmer getting stronger, fitter, faster?
Pretty much, it's just a kind of progression of swimming at the moment. So I'd say kind of maybe back in like 2008, we had 2 very strong 200 metre back rollers. We had Melanie Knocker and we had Aisling Cooney, but probably would have been more focused on maybe a mid-distance event and a lot more pacing when it came to training. But yeah, just evolution of swimming, it's definitely turned into more of a sprint event, and you'll start to notice now that a lot of these girls probably would take it out a lot stronger in the first 100 and maybe maintain it for the second 100 instead of trying to pace throughout the 200.
Yeah, and I suppose if you do have a good sprint in you and you can sprint the first 100 as you're saying and then just hold on, it's probably a good tactic.
Yeah, so again, like there's different tactics amongst 200 swimmers, I think. I think some people are able to take it out hard and maintain, and I think other people are catchers where they kind of progress throughout the race. So you'll see that in all the 200 metres that we have over the next 5 days. You'll kind of see the difference in 200 metre swimmers. But again, I do feel that it has turned into more of kind of that sprint event. So you'll see a lot of these girls, they're really going to hurt now when they hit the wall here. You'll see them leaning over the ropes because they're just trying to maintain, a strong position from the start.
Yeah, all right, so going well here in lane 1 is Ava Rock. And she has been given her closest opposition in lane 2 from Farrington Knight. But David, a good start to the morning session here for the girls as well, with Harrington taking it.
Yeah, really good. I'm not sure what happened there with the results. Yeah, it's come on your screen there. Ava Rock, yeah, there we go. Ava Rock won that. Good PB for her. She led from the start. And lane number 1, not usually you see that. Outside lanes getting faster, but good few sub 240s there. Fantastic. So look,
I was reading the results there and I was thinking, God, they're not the same girls I was looking at in the pool.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's not the eyes going on me.
Well, no, not yet anyway, Kieran, not yet.
All right, okay, so we're on to heat 9 of 13. In lane 0, Aisling Scanlon. 2, Eliza Logan. 3, Sophie Nolan. 4, Abby Byrne. 5, Ellen Blake. 4, Ellen Blake. 5, Quiva Walsh. 6, Olivia Curry. 7, Shifra Glynn. 8, Jenna McCardle. And 9, Poppy Culleton.
Yep, summer's getting ready now. All their first swims of the meet here, so 5-day meet, long meet to finish off a season, but
what will it be like for the swimmers coming from parts of the country, say Belfast, from Galway, from Cork, having to factor in that commute as well? Is it more advantageous to get home, get to your own bed, or is it better to stay?
It's better to stay. You want to limit travel. Like, yourself, you travel anywhere, even if it's a long drive, you've been sat there, you're not doing anything, but you're somehow still tired. Right, it does take it out of you traveling, so you need to limit that. You need to limit any factor that's going to make you swim slower. You've trained all year. What's the point? And I never swam. India was from Dublin, so she would have travel from her home to swim here, but myself being from Belfast, always had a hotel. You always want to limit that commute and limit everything. So all those swimmers coming from Cork, especially down Munster direction, will be will be coming up and staying in hotels. The crazy price of hotels here in Dublin.
No, well, I was just
But
thinking.
the parents are all paying it.
I was just thinking back to my own athletics days, and we always had to go to Nina. And I remember
Where's Nina? Where's that?
Tipperary.
Tipperary.
You're letting the side down.
No, sorry. Geography's not my strong point.
But it was, it was so much more advantageous for us when we'd be going to Antrim Forum or the couple of times we ran indoors in the Odyssey, because, as you say, that commute is not there.
Yeah.
So that has to play a massive factor, because you're just naturally tired and legs are tight from doing absolutely nothing.
Exactly. It's strange feeling, but yeah, I mean, it's and a lot of swimmers as you get older, you'll know your routine better. You'll know exactly what time you got to get up at. Myself, I don't know about you, India, but I like to get to the pool quite late. I didn't like hanging about. I like to come here, literally straight away, warm up, get out. Obviously within reason, but I didn't like hanging about. It just kind of wears you out, doesn't it?
To be honest, I was the exact opposite. I like to get here early. I used to just think about my race. I don't know, pick a strong lane for my warm up and stuff like that. And so yeah, I guess we're kind of different in that sense. But I actually, in a sense, I don't know. I know David himself. He swam really, really well every time he came to the NAC. But I was the opposite. I swam really well when I went up north, up to Lisburn. So yeah, I guess it's just different for different athletes.
How do you think he would have swum if he had gone to Nina?
Well, did he get there? He wouldn't have found it.
All right, so we're just about to get underway here. And India, if I was to push you for a tip in this heat, who would you be backing?
So like we said, it's kind of anyone's race here. All these girls are going to come in and they're going to try their hardest, particularly heat 9 out of 13. So there's still quite a few heats that are kind of faster qualifiers. So we saw in the previous heat that it was an outside lane. It was Ava Rock that took the win in that heat. So you can give it to any of these girls. We obviously have our fastest qualifier. We have Ellen Blake of Ennis coming in 2:37, but there's actually only 2 seconds separating the entire field. So it just depends on how well these girls are trained coming into this heat, and let's see who takes the second heat.
Yeah, and those 2 seconds can be easily eradicated in a bad start or maybe a slow turn or any little thing.
Absolutely. So again, that's what these girls have been training for, for the past year. So they want to make sure that they limit any of those things that are going to, take off, hundreds of a second and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you could slip on the wall. You could take 1 stroke less when you're turning, and all these can add up, half a second, full second. So they really want to hit everything on the head when they come into this heat swim, especially if they want to make the final this evening. So again, it's anyone's race. We kind of have a level field. We've got 2 outliers and we've got our 2 middle lanes here. So it'll be interesting to see how they take the second 100 of the 200 back row.
Yeah, and I suppose we're talking, about the different heats we have and all the different preparation that goes in. But there's so much preparation goes in behind the scenes to have something like this running so smoothly. We've been here now for 5 races. It's just race. So that's fantastic. It's so well organised. It just allows the athletes then the best opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Swim Ireland have, they've run this gala, they've run multiple galas for many, many years now. The National Aquatic Centre is such an amazing facility that we've had here for a long time. So, it does run like clockwork, and even though we've had maybe a couple of technical issues, at the start of the race here, we have probably started about 5 minutes late. A lot of the time they'll actually gain up that time because they're so experienced kind of running these races. And we have all the officials coming from all around Ireland as well. So a lot of these officials volunteer as well. So, the galas wouldn't be able to run unless that they were here as well. So, it's an amazing opportunity again for these swimmers to be able to come in and race.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're coming down the home straight, as it were, and it's still a fairly competitive race out there, David.
Yeah, pretty competitive, as Kieran said. It's Ellen Blake, though, in lane number 4, who, coming off that wall, just had the better underwater kick. But above her, right at the top of your screen there, lane number 8 as well, Jenna McCardle, Sunday's well, looking strong, trying to hang on. This is the end of the race where your legs are really, really hurting. Your hip flexors will be really burning. But coming in, it's going to be lane number 4. Blake takes it, 2:34.34, followed by McCardle at 2:35.9, Curry 2:37.0, Nolan, Byrne, Logan following. So, India mentioned earlier, a real excruciating event. Really excruciating event. So, starting off with 2 tough events, the 400 medley and the 200 metre backstroke. So, I think that was heat number. I think we have 3 heats left. Am I right? 4 heats? 4 heats left. So, all these swimmers probably not going to be getting back to the finals because the times do drop significantly towards the end. Yeah, they do when we get into the seeded heats with Maria Godden, Cora Rooney, swimmers like that. more experienced kind of swimmers.
All right, so the swimmers are in the pool for heat 10 of 13. So in lane 0 we've Izzy McGrath in 1, Anya O'Neill 2, Ava Nolan 3, Dara O'Connor 4, Emma Marriage 5, Maeve O'Rourke 6, Sarah McNally 7, Erin Morrissey 8, Ava Byrne, and 9 is Daisy O'Toole.
Good underwater kick there. Erin Morrissey looked like to have the best underwater kick, although her rate's slightly slower. She's been overtaken now by the middle lanes 5 and 4. That's Maeve O'Rourke looking really strong, very still head position, setting up the stroke nicely. Looks to be a bit more of a blanket heat here. We've got 5, 4 and 3 all kind of together into this first 50. Watch for the turn. That's what's so important. Getting a strong turn. You've only got 3 of them here on a 200-metre backstroke long course, so they're not as important as they are short course, but still play a big factor. You'll not see a great 200 backstroker, 100 backstroker without a good underwater kick. They just don't exist. Bottom of your screen there, apologies, didn't even see that. Lane number 0, Izzy McGrath flying. Apologies to Izzy. She is moving in lane number 0. She's going to be touching first here for this first 100. Can she hang on? Interesting tactic to be heading out this quick. She's through in a 1:12.2. Let me just check what her best time is.
All right, so Izzy McGrath is out in front as we approach the last half of the race, but there's a lot of competition coming now in the central lanes, particularly in 3, 4 and 5. 6 is catching up, as is 7, so she'll have a lot to do to hold on from here, India.
Absolutely, I think Izzy McGrath there from Sunday as well. She's had a really, really strong start. We know that Sunday as well is a great back roll club based down in Cork, but again, like you said, it's this kind of the last 75 where we see if people are going to tie up. David spoke about it earlier. The turns and the starts are really important when it comes to this 200-metre back roll. We've seen the Kilkenny swimmer out in lane number 7. She's really taken it strong on each of the back roll turns, but her stroke rate is just a little bit slower, so that's why she's pulling back on the distance here. But it looks like Izzy McGrath might just hold on here, but we do have lane number 5 really starting to pick up that stroke rate. We've got Maeve O'Rourke from Tuam Swimming Club, so it'll be interesting to see who takes the touch.
All right, so we're approaching the last 20-25 metres of this heat, and it's still McGrath who's leading narrowly from lane 4, and lane 4 there is Emma Marriage, but it's still McGrath slightly. Lane 5 now is going really well there. It's Maeve O'Rourke, and it looks to be like Maeve O'Rourke will just take this, I think. It's very close between O'Rourke and McGrath. It's going to be a very tight finish. It looks to be McGrath, I think, marginally. Just about. Really close finish there, India.
Yeah, really, really close finish there. I think Izzy McGrath just took it out really well in that first 100 metres with a 2:32.48. Second there, Maeve O'Rourke 2:32.49. I think Maeve definitely had the stronger stroke rate coming back on that last 50, so she gained a lot of ground. But because of Izzy's first 100 metres, she was able just to finish there. A little bit of a slower stroke rate from Izzy, but finishing strong. And a really good PB from her there, about a 4-second PB from Izzy McGrath as well, the Sunday Well swimmer.
Yeah, all right, so good start from McGrath, and as you said, Maeve O'Rourke finishing really strongly there.
Yeah, won that race by 1/100th of a second. Smallest margin in our sport. Just shows you can be leading for 199.9 metres, but if you're not leading for that 0.1 of a metre at the end, you don't win.
All right, so heat 11. So in lane 0, Emily O'Dwyer. 1, Abigail Minto. 2, Mia Mulholland. 3, Nella Likakova. 4, Aoife Doran. 5, Shannon Byrne. 6, Lavina Rika. 7, Cara Marr. 8, Heather Finn. And 9 is Neve Kennedy.
Yeah, very blanket start here. Can't really split any of them. So these swimmers now heat number 11, the first of our seeded streamline heats. So the last 3 heats of any competition, they will be seeded heats. So the third fastest swimmer overall entered will be in lane number 4 for the third heat from the end, and the second fastest swimmer will be in lane number 4 the second heat from the end, and then the fastest swimmer will be lane number 4 in the very last heat. So that's how they sort of try and spearhead the heat. So one of our faster swimmers here in lane number 4, that is Aoife Doran. She's entered on a time of 2:21.2, so her goal's got to be sub 2:20 either this morning or tonight. That's got to be a goal that you're going for. All these swimmers will have different goals in their heads, but she is first. 1:09.5. I'd like her to be a wee bit faster than that. 1:07 high. She's followed by Shannon Byrne and followed by Rika in lane number 6. So swimmers in the first of the 8 heats need to be sure of their finals position tonight, so they have to kind of go for it. Swimmers in the last heat have the added luxury of knowing what's came before them, so they don't have to go as fast if they don't need to.
Yeah, so it's 4 and 5. It's Byrne and Doran, basically neck and neck, going really well. Should be an interesting turn and down the last 50 metres here. So as they make the turn, it's Byrne and Doran, and there's nothing between them really, David. It's going to be a very interesting finish.
Yeah, there's nothing really between these two girls here in lane number 4 and lane number 5. So again, Aoife Doran just slightly ahead, still really, really strong stroke rate. Again, her entry time of a 2:21. She's going to want to be breaking that 2:20 barrier soon enough. That's probably a big barrier to break when it comes to the 200 metre back roll, but she's looking strong coming into this last 12 and a half, as long as she keeps her head steady and she finishes strong on this last stroke. Just slightly pulling away from lane number 5 as they finish in the last 5 metres of these flags. She's coming in just slightly above her PB now, finishing in a 2:24.39 and a 2:24.89 for the Banbridge swimmer Shannon Byrne. Got Abigail Minto of lane number 1 taking the 3rd position in that heat in a 2:28.82, but strong swims from all of those swimmers in heat number 11 of 13.
Yeah, and that was our quickest time there by some distance in the opening heats here of the women's competition. So very interesting to see now, can anyone else match that? But I think we have a couple here, David, who will have really competitive times. Maybe Cora Rooney.
Yeah, Cora Rooney, one of the standout backstrokers at the minute in Ireland. So she's in on a 2:20, but still a good bit back from Maria Godden of the next heat. But here we go, penultimate heat. On their way, Cora Rooney will more than likely take this one, but there'll be stiff enough challenge from Beth Nolan of Sunday as well, and Antonina Sech also of Sunday as well. So all these middle swimmers looking to make it back for tonight's final. And you'll also see these swimmers in the women's 100 metre backstroke in a few days' time. Okay, so they're getting the longer one out of the way early. But the minute it looks like lane number 5, Kieran.
Yeah, it looks to be fairly competitive, David, as they make the first turn between lanes 4, 5 and 3 is even coming in close there. So we have Antonia Sech, Cora Rooney and Beth Nolan all seem to be making good ground as we approach, well, just under halfway at the moment. But it's Rooney who's been tipped to take it, but she's just been outswum at the moment by Beth Nolan.
Yeah, if you look at the stroke rates, you look at lane number 5 there, which is Beth Nolan, our leader, in comparison to lane number 4, Cora Rooney. Her stroke rate's far higher, so she's taking a lot more strokes per minute than Cora Rooney is. So why that's important is the more strokes you take, the more energy you're expending. The less strokes you take, the less energy. So if you're going the same speed with less strokes, the idea is that you'll have more energy in the back end of the race. So we'll see if that happens. But some swimmers naturally will have a higher stroke rate than others. But swimming's all about efficiency, and the lower your stroke rate, the more power you can generate, the faster you're going to go.
Yeah, and it looks to be Antonia Sech making good ground there in lane 3, David. Still from Nolan, and then back as far as Rooney. And Sech, it'll be important to see how Sech comes off the wall here, because she could really start to catch.
Yeah, last turn hard, the lungs are burning. All you're wanting is this race to be over. But Cora Rooney now taking it a little bit more to Beth Nolan. So, like I said, you see that higher stroke rate for Beth Nolan. It's hard to hang on to a race with such a high stroke rate, but she's swimming great. But Cora Rooney, the fastest qualifier for this penultimate heat of the women's 200 metre backstroke, is taking it out. Let's keep an eye on the clock. She's entered in, I think it was a 2:22. She's going to be just over that, but safely back for tonight's final. Cora Rooney, 2:24.49. Beth Nolan had a real gutsy swim in a 2:26.1. And like Kieran said, Sech came back, was trying to come back, but ran out of pool in a 2:27.3. One more heat to go. There's confirmation of results.
Yeah, absolutely. So that one there just slightly slower than the previous heat. Slightly.
I think it was a comfortable swim there for Cora Rooney. She looked really strong on the stroke rate, and like David said, kind of only really picked up on that last 25 metres. And if you watch her underwaters, Cora's usually a very strong underwater swimmer, but it didn't look like she was pushing herself too much on those. So I feel like she can definitely come back in the final swim this evening and push that a little bit harder.
Yeah, and I suppose that's what you guys were talking about earlier on, just trying to get through the heat and be comfortable, not expend that much energy. And as you said, she looked comfortable, so she'd be very happy.
Exactly, yeah, and we'll see it now, the likes with Maria Godden taking lane number 4. If you watch her underwater, she's absolutely world class when it comes to this back roll as well, so you'll be able to see whether she's going to take it a little bit easier kind of from that underwater work as well in the heat swim compared to the final. But she is entered in the fastest time here of the 200 metre back roll in a 2:12.61, so streets ahead of everyone else, and you can see from this lovely slow stroke rate from her here that she's looking comfortable coming into this event.
All right, okay, so we'll just take a check on who is in which lane. So in lane 0, it's Kirsty Dunn. Lane 1, Louisa Humphreys. 2, Paige Austin Burrows. 3, Nave Pountry. 4 is Maria Godden. 5, Leah Bailey. 6 is Katie Kelly. 7, Maeve McLean. 8, Roisin Lawless. And 9, Michelle O'Shea. So the first 50 metres, they've gone, and it sucks to be lane 4 going really well there. Maria Godden. And she looks to be very comfortable, India.
Yeah, no, she's very comfortable. She knows that she's going to be streets ahead of everyone going into this event, so it is kind of just, taking it out nice and easy and just making her final swim this evening. So looking strong coming into this first 100 metres. We're just going to keep an eye on the clock and see what time she splits in on. And it's a 1:04.73, so probably a little bit higher split if she's looking to break that 2:12. So I'd say she is just going comfortable this morning. When I spoke about those underwaters before, so for anyone that doesn't know, so on a back roll, starting back roll turn, 15 metres is the max they can go under the water. So you'll see these red markers on the lane ropes. They need to have broken the surface before they get to those red markers. But you can see with Maria Godden, she's really strong with those underwater marks.
Yeah, she's absolutely flying. It looks as if she's going to hit the wall here at about 1:36, and that would be a really impressive swim for the 3/4 mark. 1:37. But David, this is the first heat we've had a really clear winner.
Yeah, well, she's, looking at the heat sheet, she's 8 seconds faster, more. Yeah, 8 seconds faster than the rest of the field. She's a 2:12 is her best time. That's not far off Melanie Nogger's Irish senior record of 2:10. So she's going really well here. I really like how still her head is. Keep an eye on the clock. She's got a best time of 2:12.6. She is going for this, folks.
Definitely going to beat
She's going
that, I think.
2:11, maybe 2:12.1. Good swim, 2:12.1. Maria had the pleasure of interviewing her at the Irish Championships in April. She's lovely, lovely girl. Real determined. She's really happy with that one.
I suppose any day you shave a bit off your PB is a good day, and she just looks delighted with that. So good swim, and particularly as you were saying for a morning session, for a heat session, there's probably more left in the tank as well.
Absolutely, 2:12.1. That's a really, really world-class time. That she'll be over the moon with that. I thought she was going for it when she flipped at 100 metres, 1:04. I've never went 1:04 in a 100 backstroke, never mind a 200. She's really happy with that one. That's a fast heat swim. Maria Godden, 2:12. 15 seconds clear, India, of the rest of the field?
Yeah, no, she looked fantastic in that 200 metre backstroke, and like we spoke about before, it is about kind of keeping that head steady when she's swimming. So that's why it kind of looks like a lot of these swimmers can go in and look quite comfortable when it comes to the first 100 metres of the 200 metre backstroke. So she really went for it there on that second 100, turning on the 1:04 and coming back on a 2:12.1. It's a really, really strong second half of her race. So it's a great swim there from Maria Godden. I'm sure she'll be delighted with that. And let's see if she comes back into the final swim this evening. A lot of these swimmers might go in and just try and really give it their all in the heat swim and then maybe pull out of the final. So it'll be interesting to see if she takes it into the final as well this evening.
All right, okay, so we're going back to the men's section now. And a 200 metre freestyle, David.
Here we go, men's 200 metre freestyle. One of the most popular events in swimming at the minute, the 200 metre freestyle. Straight off the bat, we'll get into talking about the event in a little bit, but let's run through the field really quickly. Yeah. Zero, Mullen, Nyland, Robertson, Cuddy, Mullen again, Stretzlov in lane number 5, Griffin, O'Sullivan, Nealon and Kelly rounding out the field. Lane number 1, Nyland of the NAC, taking this out really strongly. There's always one will go for it a bit more than the others. 26.86 for him. Okay, nice underwater, staying under about 8 or so metres there. He's trying to take this race by the scruff of the neck. He's entered in a time of 2:05.9, so I mean he's absolutely flying for that kind of swim. So we'll see if he can hang on, or will the rest of the field catch him up.
So as David was saying, he is going well, but the field is starting to catch now, and it's going to be a really interesting second half of the race, David.
Absolutely. 200 free is a really interesting one. You know, again, they mentioned on the backstroke, it's more of a 200 metre backstroke is now more of a sprint event. The 200 freestyle is definitely more of a sprint event. The top 200 freestylers in the world are all 100 metre freestylers or 200 metre freestylers. You don't get guys swimming down from the 400 anymore. It's all 200 metre freestyle, 100 metre freestyle, because you have to have that speed. But at the minute, Nyland has got a lot of speed. The only one challenging really is Cudahy of Kilkenny in lane number 3. Let's keep an eye on the clock. He's on course here to go sub 2 minutes, folks. 1:28.79 for him. And this is where it gets really, really tough. Legs are all important. That third 50 is so important to keep the momentum going. Last 50 is so key to keep the legs going. The rate will want to drop. Cudahy's really challenging.
And he looks, David, as if he might just break that. He's not looking to slow down now. He might not just break the 2 metre barrier, but still a really impressive swim. But catching in lane 3, a really good swim. Cudahy there as well from Nyland in lane 1, and it's actually very close in the finish up.
Yeah, Nyland hung on. He absolutely went for it. He was chasing that sub 2 minutes. You know, I respect that. Christian Nyland, go for it. That's what I used to do when I swam. And try and hang on. Just shows you the 2 different ways to swim that race. Cudahy, a bit slower out, but you know, almost went exactly the same time. So good swims, but they'll be searching for that sub 2 minutes at some point in their careers anyway. So moving on to heat 17.
Yeah, in lane 0, Ian Middleton. And in lane 2, Kirstazan Kazarki-Nagy. Lane 2, Michael O'Driscoll. 3, Emmett Cousins. 4, Michael Keogh. 5, Alexander Newman. 6, Dara Rusk. 7 is Matthew Moan. 8, Ollie Brennan. And 9, Samuel Wright.
Yes, so we're on to heat number 17 out of 21 in this 200 metre freestyle for men. So like we said in the previous heat, there are different ways to swim the 200 metre freestyle. We saw Nyland in the last one really take it hard in a 57 and then coming back and just trying to hold on, coming in at 2:01.76. So again, really, really strong swim from him there. So we also have an outsider taking this first 50 here. We've got Ian Middleton of Glenalbin in lane 0 going out in a 27.08. So it'll be interesting to see if he's taking out the same tactic of going out nice and hard in this first 100 metres and trying to hold on.
It was a really tight field, and to be fair, India, from all the lanes, not much in it at all.
No, there's not. It will be interesting now after the first 100 metres, but we also have lane number 1. So we do have the outside lanes really taking it out hard on this first 100 metres. So their split time is going to be a 58.17, so a little bit slower than that previous heat of a 57 for that first 100 metres, but they might be able to hold a stronger finish now for the second 100 metres. So our fastest qualifier in heat number 17 is Michael Keogh. He is in on a 2:04.31, so all of these swimmers are going to be looking to come down towards that 2 minute mark or even break it as well.
All right, so as we approach the final 50 metres, and it's still in lane 1, Kajuki, and really good turn there, and he's starting to lead and going well. In lane 3 is Cousins, and then again in lane 5 is Newman, and making good ground all the way over there. In lane 7 is Moan. But it looks as if he's going to hold out here, David, and take this heat.
Yeah, so do I. Nagy went out really strong.
There's really good finish over in lane 7 there. It looks like Moan's doing really well.
Yeah, Moan's coming home like a freight train. And touches is Moan.
A really good swim from Moan.
2:17. So do I. Nagy just hurting a wee bit on the back end of that 200 metre freestyle. All right, 2:01.75 from a 2:01.85. And Cousins, 2:33. So expect now a few swims to be under the 2 minute barrier. We still don't have any entries.
Come back there from Moan, David.
Oh, it was, yeah. So you know, you see so many different kinds of ways to swim the men's 200 metre freestyle. You know, go out quick, hang on, go out slower, come back a bit fast. faster middle 100. You know, there's so many different styles, and you can see it on the replay there. Look at that. Look at his stroke rate. Head down. He didn't breathe the last few meters. That's what got him the win there. Didn't breathe last 7 or 8 meters. That's really impressive to do on the back end of a 200 meter freestyle. Straight into heat 18. 4 heats to go. Trio of Hamilton swimmers there in 0, 1 and 2.
And David, I'll let you take us through the field here for this 18th heat of 21.
Yes, no problem. Lane number 0, we have Ramachani of Hamilton. Kedier is in lane number 1, also of Hamilton. His teammate Hussam is in 2. Rizinchenko in lane number 3. Tibete of the NEC in 4. Weaver 5. Gallen 6. Peshka 7. Byrne 8. And Flanagan of Marlin is in lane number 9. But is in number 4. Tabit of the NEC in a 26.44. We've seen a few 26s come through on this first 50 of this men's 200 metre freestyle. So he's got a lovely long sort of loping stroke. Look how he holds his hand out at the front. You know, just allowing the hands to catch up, allowing the stroke rate to stay nice and low. Keep that efficiency high. So he's looking really, really comfortable.
He's looking really comfortable, David, and everyone around him is really, just as you're saying, getting that stroke rate up, and he just seems to be cantering through the race.
Yeah, the better swimmers will make it look easy. Although we could streamline a little bit better there. I know his coach will have said that, get his hands together in that streamline, but he's not even really kicking his legs yet either, so be aware of that. If you watch all the swimmers in the field there, folks, you'll see which ones are really kicking their legs and which ones aren't. That's a sign to sort of say which ones are holding back and which ones are going for it. So I'd expect lane number 4, Oshin, to beat, to really kind of up the leg kick in this last 50. But lane number 8 taking the lead comfortably. It's Byrne of the NEC, 128.4. So now it'll all be racing for home for that sub 2 minutes. I think they're going to be just off it, but I'm expecting to be stroke rate to be up a wee bit, but he's still hanging on to that lower kind of, looks like almost 38, 39
There's a real
stroke
battle
rate.
here in the middle 2 lanes, David, between Weaver and Tibete, and in lane 8 then we've another leader. That's Byrne. He looks like he's going to hold on, but it's a good battle for 2nd and 3rd in the middle lanes, but it does look like Byrne's going to take this race. In fact, he has.
Oh, Byrne, what are you doing with the finish? What?
And Weaver did get in.
Bro. Yeah, I don't know if folks you saw that lane number 8 Byrne on it. Saw him an unbelievable swim. But then he lifted his head at the end so much. If we get a replay of that, his coach will kick him for that one. He had sub 2 minutes in the bag and he just came into the finish and lifted his head up for some reason. If he keeps his head down there, oh come on, please show us. Oh, there we go. Up and down and then up. If he just gets his head down. Oh, good swim otherwise though, good swim. Can't be too harsh on him.
And that was very interesting too, because we were so enthralled in the battle here between lanes 4 and 5, and Byrne just did his own thing and swam away. So great heat, that one. All right, we're on to the 19th of 21, and Indy, I'll let you take this field for us.
Yeah, so in lane 0 we have O'Connor. In lane number 1, Morgan. In lane number 2, we've got Riddle. In lane number 3, we've got Colgan. Lane number 4, we've got Morgan. Lane 5, Rin. In lane number 6, we've got Allison. Lane 7, Edgar. Lane number 8, Harvey. And lane number 9, we've got Fitzmaurice. So again, a strong start from these swimmers here. Lane number 4 might just take this first turn, but again, still strong swimmer from lane 0 there as well. 26.83 for Sean O'Carroll of Ennis. So again, it's going to be this first 100 metres that's going to split the field. All of these swimmers are going to be looking to go below that 2 minute mark. So our fastest qualifier into this is Danny Morgan of Coolmine. The 19-year-old, he is in it for 1:53.02, so much stronger heat than the previous heat.
Yeah, and we can see there from the first 3 races, like our times have been coming down. 2:01.76, then 2:01.75, and now at 2 minutes and 37. So as you say, Neil, this one should be quicker again.
Absolutely, it's the first of our seeded heats, so we do have Danny Morgan. He's probably going to be our 3rd fastest qualifier into this 200 metres, so going to be an experienced swimmer here. He's got an interesting stroke, so it is quite high, that stroke rate. He's only breathing 1 and 2, so he's able to look at lane number 5 as he comes down this 3rd 50, which is a good advantage for him to try and maintain that lead, but he'll be turning away from that, his main competitor now coming into the final 50, so it's really just about swimming his own race and finishing the last 50 strong.
All right, so coming into the last 50 metres, and it's lane 4 out in front, Danny Morgan. But there's a little bit of company coming in lane 5, and then a little bit more in 6. So Ryan and In 3, there's a chance for Colgan. But it does look, Indy, as if it's going to be Morgan that holds on here, starting to just really grow into the race now.
Yeah, we're coming into the last just 10 metres of this race. So again, he's going to want to put his head down for these last 5 metres. Hitting the wall here on a time of 1:55.15. So just above that entry time of a 1:53.02. And then we have Cormac Rinn coming in at 1:57.43 and Adam Colgan at 1:58.03. So all 3 swimmers below that 2-minute mark. So moving on to the penultimate heat, we should have some fast ones there as well.
So good swim from Danny Morgan there.
I think we had a disqualification in that last heat. I think it was lane number 2, just a fast start there, saw it at the start.
All right, so a false start for Dara Morgan. So we're into the second last one. David, will you take us through heat number 20?
Absolutely. Penultimate heat here of the men's 200 metre freestyle. 0 Candle, 1 Cook, 2 Charlie Cassidy of Dolphin. Next to him it's McKinnon. Evan Bailey, the fast European junior swimmer, is in 4. Tolba is 5 from Hamilton. Conor Fitzgerald, Limerick. Shockey of Hamilton is in 7. Next to him is McCarthy, and next to him is the Ard swimmer Michael McCann. So watch out for Evan Bailey, the main swimmer here. Really fantastic junior swimmer. Good 100 metre freestyler, 100 metre fly swimmer. A real up and coming talent. So I would like to see him push this 200 metre freestyle a little bit more. He's entered in a 1:52.0, but he's faster than that. He can definitely be a sub 150 guy, but he will be chilling this heat to make it through to the final. He's got a considerably faster entry time than everyone else, but this is very close to call, folks. It looks like,
say, David, to rub your term, this is a bit of a blanket.
Yeah.
Moment.
I love that one. Put a blanket over them, it would cover them all, but it looks like Evan Bailey. But if you watch his stroke in the middle there, look how high that elbow comes right up. He bounces a wee bit more than what you would maybe want, but he's got such a strong leg kick that his body position isn't altering. So expect him in this third 50 to push through and then just get enough done to make the final tonight. There's Bailey through here, and he's through in a 1:25.15. Tolba, the Hamilton swimmer, hanging on beside him.
So coming in towards the last 35 metres of the race, and it's still Tolba in lane 5, Bailey going well, as is Fitzgerald, and there's ground being made everywhere now, and we have a real race in our hands here in lane 4. Bailey going from Tolba, and there's a chance there for Fitzgerald also, but it looks as if Bailey and Tolba are going to swim this one out. It's going to be a very tight finish between Bailey and Tolba. Tolba in 5, Bailey in 4, and I think it's just about going to be Bailey who takes. That was a really good race.
Yeah, it was it's just getting through tonight's final. Some of those swimmers in the middle will be going for it a wee bit more. Sorry, the outside going for it a little bit more to make the final tonight, but the likes of your middle swimmers, lanes 4, 5, 3, will be chilling a wee bit more to try and just get back for tonight. But the final heat here, we got Jerry Quinn. I didn't know he was entered in this. Fantastic swimmer. I thought he'd actually retired, but he's back. Qualified that men's 4x200 metre freestyle relay to the Olympic Games in Tokyo only a couple of years ago. Couldn't actually go himself due to relay rules and complications there. But a fantastic swimmer himself.
All right, so this is our final heat.
Yeah, final heat coming. So watch out for lane number 4 as well. Finn McGeever, he's a Tokyo Olympian. Really established 200 freestyler over the last sort of 4 or 5 years in this country. So Quinn and McGeever will be the ones to watch here, definitely.
All right, so let's take you through the lane 0, Lurens, 1, David, 2, O'Loughlin Brophy, 3 is Quinn, 4, McGeever, 5, Fleming, 6 is Walsh, 7, Switzer, 8, Zarin, and 9, Luca Power. So we're just approaching the halfway mark here, and it's quite competitive. And Indy, these last 2 races have really been good, competitive, strong swims.
Oh, absolutely, and like the names that we have here, I think David just mentioned there, Jerry Quinn. It's nice to see him back in the pool. I thought he'd retired as well, so nice to see him. So he actually has an interesting front coast stroke. He's very long compared to Finn McGeever there beside him, so kind of more of a straight arm stroke when it comes to his left arm, which is really impressive. But again, these are some of our most experienced swimmers here. So again, they're just going to be looking to kind of take it out and maybe come back this evening and have a real race together. But it's Finn McGeever taking this last heat. It looks like, as long as Jerry Quinn might stay on his shoulder here, but coming into the last, say, 60 metres of this race, it's looking like a strong swim from Finn.
Yeah, absolutely. So just coming into the last 50, as Indy was saying, and it's a really tight race, and lane 4 going really well there, McGeever. The Olympian, as was previously mentioned, and he's got company in lane 3 from Quinn, and just outside him there in 5 is Fleming and Walsh, but it's still McGeever. McGeever just starting to pull away a little bit now, but he has get a little bit of attention there from Quinn in lane 3. It's Quinn and McGeever, and it looks to be McGeever and Finn, as you've called it already, David.
Yeah, McGeever, the Olympian, coming through. 154.0, way over his best time of a 148, so that should have been really comfortable for him. Some 6 seconds slower than his best time. And Quinn, 156 dead, so they'll be back for tonight.
Just looking at the times across those last 3 heats in terms of winners, 155.15, 154.35, 154.05, so a really exciting final coming up there.
Okay, yeah, there will be. A lot of these swimmers are a lot slower than their best times. Jerry Quinn's been a 148. Finn McGeever's been a 148. And then you got the likes of Evan Bailey, who's down to 152, 151. So expect to see all those swimmers kind of step it up for tonight and challenge their best times. On that 200-meter freestyle, it shouldn't take a crazy fast time to win that, I don't think. So, but it's going to be a great race anyway.
All right, so the next race on our card here, I think it should be the women's 200-meter freestyle. So, India, just take us through the first heat here. It's the 13th heat.
So heat number 12, we've got Isabella Kavanagh in lane 0, we've got Aoife Scott in 1, we've got Fierick in lane 2, Markey in lane number 3, Harrington in 4, we've got Matthews in 5, Fahy in lane 6, Maguire in 7, Falls in 8, and Dickens in lane number 9. We do look like we have an empty lane there in lane number 4 of our first heat. So that is Ava Harrington of Sunday as well. Looks like she's pulled from this 200-metre freestyle. We've got some interesting names coming up in our 3 fastest heats later. We've got Molly McAlorum, we've also got Molly Main, and we've got Naomi Trade coming in those final 3 heats. But it'll be interesting to see how these first couple of heats take it, and if we're looking for some fast swims for these girls.
All right, okay, so the first 50 is just done. And that emptiness in the middle lane, when you were swimming yourself, if ever you came across something like that, was it ever off-putting having no one on your inside when you're swimming?
I think it depends on the race, to be honest. When it comes to kind of maybe the sprint events, it's very much just kind of put your head down. You probably don't really notice who's around you. Maybe in these kind of 200s, if you are looking to, maybe if you know that someone's swimming a little bit faster beside you and you want to swim off them a little bit, it's a little bit off-putting when they're not beside you. But again, at the end of the day, all these swimmers are coming in and their main competitor is the clock, so they know what they need to do. I know it's nice to have a bit of competition beside you, but that's their main competitor is the clock, so they just need to put their head down and swim the way they've been training. So these girls, the fastest qualifier, Ava Harrington, who's not here, so second fastest qualifier is still at 2:18.36. These girls are going to want to bring that down, but we had first turn there at around a 1:06, so it looks like it could be a strong swim for these girls in this first heat.
Yeah, all right, and don't forget to stay with us here on HPV Live all week. For coming to you from the National Aquatic Centre with the Irish Youth and Senior Summer Nationals. So David Thompson, India McGlynn will be with you all week. And this morning, David, we've been treated to some really good swims so far, and as we approach the last 50 metres of this one, it's looking quite tight.
Yeah, it is, yeah. The number 8, Ellie Falls. The Lauren swimmer with the first touch at the 150, so all these swimmers not expected to really make finals tonight, well, A finals. There'll be age group finals, of course, so they won't be expected to make the open finals, but it looks like Ellie Falls hanging on. She's breathing to the rest of the field. She can see exactly what's going on. So look at her leg kick. Her leg kick is higher than anybody else's. She's going to hang on for maybe a 2:18 or something like that. A bit faster than that.
Just ahead of Maguire.
2:16.5 for Ellie Falls. Just ahead of Maguire from Markey. So 2:16.5 for her. Good swim. That's a 3-second-ish best time for her, so that's all you can ask for. Best times, jump in some faster than you ever have done before and get out. That's job done.
All right, on to heat number 13 of 17 in the women's 200 metre freestyle. So lane 0 is La Henry, 1 Amy Dawson, 2 Eva Hand, 3 Anya O'Neill, 4 Megan Jones, 5 Brianna Chamberlain, 6 Nasa Godden, 7 Holly Robson, 8 Ava Nolan, and 9 Eva Walsh.
Yes, clear leader here, isn't there? After 35 or so metres, in number 4 Megan Jones of Portmarnock, just up the road, is having a really nice swim. Lovely control kind of stroke, out in a 29.75, getting under that 30-second barrier for the first 50 of this 200 metre freestyle. Okay, and she's got a strong leg kick here, India.
Absolutely, and it's Jones going really well.
100 metres there, lane number 4. Again, we spoke about it before. She hasn't got competition beside her. We've got Brianna Chamberlain. She's missing out of lane number 5. So it looks like lane number 4, Megan Jones, has got to just take this out on her own and swim her own race. But she's doing that really well. Again, stroke rate is really strong, breathing 1 and 2. And like you said, David, strong leg kick here. So her entry time is a 2:16.70. She's turning on a 1:03.14. So that's a really strong start to this first 100 over 200 metres. If she can keep her pace around a 33.34 coming back on these second 250s, should be making a strong PB here on the 200 metres.
Yeah, absolutely, and Jones going really well, but also a really good swim here, I think, in lane 2 from Eva Hand. So between Hand and Jones, it's going to be a really interesting last 50 metres, India.
Absolutely, it looks like her leg kick is just easing off just a little bit, but it's usually the third 50 you'll see that the swimmers might die off just a little bit and then really hammer it home on this fourth 50 here. So be interesting to see her split time. It's just coming up on screen. So yeah, 35.20, a little bit slower than probably what she's looking for if she wanted to break that 2:16 time. But if she can hammer home this last 50, hopefully she can make a PB and maybe a final swim this evening. But we do have lane number 2 really hammering it as well. So we've got Ava Hand of Banbridge. She's really picking up the stroke rate coming into this last 25. I think she actually might take this second heat of the morning swim. Looking really strong. So it's going to be down to these last 50 metres to see who takes the swim for this second heat.
She's making really good ground, but does she have enough pool just to, or is she running out of water? It's going to be an interesting, just about. Good finish in the end. Handed really well to catch up there.
Absolutely, 2:13.46. Then Megan Jones was really tying up there on the last couple of strokes. I think probably could have taken that one extra stroke instead of the glide in to maybe bring it down to a lower 2:13. But strong swim from both of those girls. I think PBing for both of them. So again, like we said, they're both looking to come out and perform in the morning swim, and I think they both did that there.
All right, so really good finish there, Jones to hold on from Hand. So the next heat we have is heat 14 of 17. So if you're joining us late, you haven't missed a whole pile of swimming action. We just started at the 12th of 17 heats here in this 200 metre freestyle for the women. And we're on now to heat 14. So in heat 14, David, I'll let you take us through the field.
Yeah, heat number 14 coming up now. I'll wait till it's confirmation on the, so yourselves can see at home on the screen there. So heat number 14 now. A little bit of a drop in time now. 2:14.8 being the fastest qualifier. So yeah, we had 2:13 there, but they were big drops from Eva Hand of Bangor and Megan Jones of Portmarnock. So really, really good to see early doors these swimmers getting fast times, and you will see generally with a lot of junior swimmers they will swim their best times at this meet. It's a combination of the whole year. They've trained the entire year, and even if they didn't swim as well maybe throughout the year, this one at the very, very end, because they've swam so much, the swimming season's crazy. It's from September. Swimmers get August off, and that's it, Kieran. August off, and they get back in September, and the whole year they maybe get 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off the whole year. So it's a very, very tough sport. So it shouldn't be ignored that all these young swimmers train a hell of a lot, for such a young age, to really only to aspire to be, make international competitions as they get older. So it's a real dedication to get to that level.
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose the only consolation is you get probably the best month of the year off.
True. August.
And we seem, David, to have another absentee here in this. That's 2 races in a row now. We've not got a full field.
Yeah, some swimmers will either, for whatever reason, pull out of a certain event to try and focus on another one, or maybe they're just not here, or they entered and didn't pull out, so you will see that a lot, and you'll see a lot of this meet because of the amount of races. But let's run through the field very, very quickly. Lane number 0, we have Savobdova of Trojan. Lane number 1, Gibson. 2, Kennedy. 3, Kiva Doyle of Aer Lingus. Lane number 4, Ellen Lee. Ava Rock of New Ross is in 5. McKiernan, 6 of Banbridge. Ava Byrne is in lane number 7. Jessica Robson of Lisburn is in 8, and next to her, Whelan of ESB. So expect slightly faster times now. The trajectory is going that these swimmers are all getting best times, so if they're entered on a 2:14-ish, they should be looking to get down to around that 2:10 kind of mark. And they'll all have individual goals in their head, of what they want to do.
I'm just noticing here, David, that a lot of coaches are remonstrating and giving instructions on there, but it must be the one sport where you're just totally oblivious to instruction, because with head in the water and then looking up, I assume that's more for breathing purposes than scan and see what the coach is saying.
No, you're not saying what the coach is saying at all. You can hear when you swim there, you hear nothing, you see nothing. Swimming's very, very unique because so many of your senses are dulled. You can't really see properly, you can't really breathe, you can't talk, you can do, it's not, so much of it is dull, so it's very, very difficult to try and focus in. It's a very, very tough sport, so the coaches shouting is more just for their own benefit, to try and make themselves feel like they're doing something on race day when realistically their work is done. So lane number 3, Kiva Doyle is in the lead of Aer Lingus, but she's followed tightly by Ellen Lee and Ava Rock as well in lane number 5. Going to be a close finish in there.
Yeah, it's a close finish between these 3 middle lanes here, but it does look lane number 3, Quiva Doyle of Aer Lingus. So again, strong freestyle club here. Looks like she'll be finishing strong. Quiva has an entry time of a 2:15.03. I think she's going to be well below that as long as she can keep her head down. But lane number 5 coming in strong
India
as well.
from lane 5.
Be a close touch. And it is Quiva Doyle, 2:12.27. So strong PB there from Quiva Doyle. We've got Ava Rock taking second position in a 2:12.34 also, so just 7/100ths of a second behind, and a 2:13.15 to take the third place from Ellen Lee.
Yeah, that was a really strong finish there from Rock too, wasn't it? Because she was tracking her and nearly got it.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of looked like initially she's about half a body length behind, but to be still come in probably only about half a second behind those 2 front leaders. It was a strong finish to really put her head down and finish that race strong. So we're moving on to the first of our seeded heats of this 200 metre freestyle. We've got Molly McAlorum taking lane number 4. So again, a much stronger and faster heat coming up now. The 2:07.44 as our fastest swim. Molly's been having a great season, hasn't she, David?
Yeah, Molly McAlorum coming off the back of last summer going to the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham for Team Northern Ireland, so she's been training hard this year. I help out a bit coaching at the National Centre of Ulster, so seen her, a very hard worker, like all these swimmers are. But running through the field very quickly, Allen in lane number 0, Clara Doherty 1, Sophia O'Neill 2, The Dance 3, like we said, McAlorum 4 of Leander, Carroll's next to her in 5, Simeons is in 6, Cochrane 7, O'Brick 8, and Began in lane number 9 of Trojan. So taking it out, like India said, is McAlorum. Been working on a bit more speed with her, trying to get that speed up, a bit more focus on the 100 as well. So
yeah, McAlorum going well, David, but she's been pushed all the way there by Carroll in lane 5, who in turn has been pushed by is it Ledan in lane 1? Sorry, it's Doherty in lane 1. So good field, good start, and as they come to the turn here halfway, it's a real tight field, but it is going to be McAlorum who leads the field, being tracked down there in lane 3 by Ledan. But McAlorum really starting to show her strength here and is starting to pull away a little bit, but the rest of the field very evenly matched. Good swimming here in lane 1 from Doherty as well, and Doherty and Ledan are going really well neck and neck in lanes 1 and 3, but it is McAlorum who leads as we approach the last turn of the race.
Yeah, McAlorum taking the race to the rest of the field here. Like Kieran said, 1, Doherty is the only sort of challenger right now. But McAlorum's turning a 1:35.4. Her best time, entry time into this anyway, is a 2:07.44. So challenging for that maybe this morning, but the target will be for tonight to go for that. So just book a place in the final, get a lane, get home, get rested, and come back for tonight. McAlorum obviously going to take gold here.
But Ledan and Doherty going really well in 1 and 3 as well, and they're having a really interesting battle for second place. McAlorum, as you have already said, is going to take it, but this is a really interesting battle for second.
Yeah, it is. It looks like it's going to be lane number 1, I think, Doherty. And it is lane number 1, Doherty, in a 2:11.4. Lidan in 3 with a 2:12.2. That's a great swim from Doherty. Let me check my notes here. Yeah, she was ending in a 2:13. Yeah, she's dropped 2 seconds. That's great for a 200 metre freestyle. McElroy just above her best in a 2:08.5, and Lidan rounds out the field for the top 3 there with a 2:12.2. So, like India said, these are on the seeded heats now. So we've got Molly Main, more known for her breaststroke and IM abilities, but she's going here in this 200 metre freestyle in lane number 4.
Right, so the second last of the heats in this 200 metre freestyle, just going through the lanes in 0 Mulhall, 1 Bentley, 2 Miss Kelly, 3 Farrell, 4 Main, 5 is Friel, 6 is Bailey, 7 Purcell, 8 Jemison, and 9 O'Connor.
Yeah,
So good.
We've got Molly Main in lane number 4 again. Like David said, she's kind of more known for her breaststroke events, but she's taking out this 200 front call as well. Probably maybe just getting into the water to see how she's feeling at the start of this 5-day meet. It looks like she's going strong on this first 50 metres, so her entry time is a 2:06. She's turning on a 29:35 for this first 50 metres. If she's looking to break that 2:06, she's probably going to want to turn around the 60-second, 61-second mark for this first 100 metres. But it does look like that lane number 3 is just slightly ahead, so that's Danielle Farrell's Sligo. She's looking very strong, nice strong kick from her there, so it'll be interesting to see who's going to take the field after this first 100 metres. They'll be turning here in about 15 metres.
Yeah, so as we approach the halfway mark, it's still in lane 3, it's Farrell and Main going well as well in lane 4. Lane 5 closing the gap down to is Friel, so it's going to be a very interesting last 100 metres. Lanes 3, 4 and 5 starting to pull away, and it is a really good race here from Farrell in lane 3. Main starting to catch up on her, and so far we've had a really interesting battle here, India.
Absolutely, Danielle Farrell, she's entered in at 2:09, so we have Molly Main going in beside her with a 2:06, and like I said, is probably looking for a 60-61 second split for that first 100 metres, which Danielle Farrell just pipped her there on the 61 second mark. So I think we're going to be looking for a fast time here from Danielle. Again, she's turning on a 1:34.03, so that's a 32 second split. Looking really strong. I think if she can hold on here, that 2:09 is definitely going to be broken here for Danielle Farrell. Nice to have Molly Main sitting beside her, so she can really pace off of her very well. So it's going to be between lane number 4 and lane number 3 to finish this race strong.
Yeah, as Indy was saying, as Farrell and Main, they're neck and neck at the minute, and there's nothing between these. It's going to go right down to the wall between Main and Farrell. It looks momentarily as if Farrell is just, or Main is just starting to pull away. She might just have a fingertip on her. Farrell just going that a little bit quicker, I think, and she's going to get there first, followed in closely then by Farrell, and third place coming in lane 5. I think it was Friel.
Yeah, that was a really strong swim there from our second last heat. So Molly Main just above her time, her entry time of 2:06, coming in at 2:07.13. Strong swim there. Danielle Farrell breaking her PB by a full second, going on a 2:08.00, and then we've got Rebecca Friel from Trojan in a 2:11.94. We knew Molly Main could come back strong. She does do that 200 metre breaststroke, so we know that she's a strong endurance swimmer. She's got that kind of endurance behind her, so it's a really strong second half. We're moving on to the final heat now. Once we get the swimmers into the water, we'll just run down through the lane list. We've got Naomi Trait, lane number 4. She's the UCD swimmer. She's our fastest qualifier into this event.
It was interesting there, Indy, when you say about Farrell breaking her PB and coming second. It's an interesting one, that, isn't it? Because it's a personal win, but obviously you haven't won the race, so.
Absolutely. I think knowing she's going in beside Molly Main, she really had to push herself, but I think she's still going to take that, small win herself, event at 2:08, and hopefully we'll be able to see her coming back into the final session this evening, and she'll be able to improve on that 2:08.00 as well. But we'll just quickly run down through the list of names here. So we've got Kyla Slova in lane 0, we've got Dunnigan in lane 1, we've got Prunty in 2, Phelan in 3, Naomi Trait, the UCD swimmer, lane number 4. She's our fastest qualifier in a 2:05. We've got Leah Bailey in lane 5, Gardner in 6, O'Shea in 7, McInerney in 8, and Kelly in lane number 9.
All right, so the last heat of the morning session here for this women's 200 metre freestyle, and we have a really nice setup here, David, because as they come towards the halfway mark, we've 3 to 4 swimmers who are really going to have to attack this last 100 to claim the race.
Absolutely, Kieran. Yeah, Trait, the fastest qualifier in lane number 4, expected to be leading, and she is. We're closely followed by Gardner and Phelan. But Trait with that lovely low, you can hardly see her breath. The lovely low head position, keeping that body as flat as possible. But I like the look in lane number 3 as well of Phelan. She's got a nice sort of loping stroke. See if that stroke rate can be upped for this last 50. So coming in here now, 150 metres done. 1:33.92 for Naomi Trait. Her best time is entered in a 2:05.52. So have to do some work to be getting down around that, but she's really picking it up. Nice high stroke rate.
Yeah, and as we approach the last 25 metres of this, the final heat of the morning session, it looks as if Trait is just going to pull away there, despite great swimming from Phelan in lane 3. And Trait is going to take this one and qualify. And there's a really good strong swim here in lane 6 from Gardner. I think Gardner's going to actually come in second. It's going to be tight. I think she might have just nicked it ahead of Phelan. Really good.
Trait took it there. Comfortable swim for her. The 2:07.0. Just above her best time, so she'll be back tonight for finals. Usually these swimmer. Looks pretty chilled there in the water. Doesn't look too out of breath, so that rounds out. Finally, we've got a 100-metre event. 400-metre, 200-metre, 200-metre. Finally, we're getting onto the good stuff. Okay, 100-metre breaststroke for men. Okay, Ireland always had strong breaststrokers throughout our history. Pretty much every Olympic Games, there's been breaststrokers, both female and male. So, who knows, some of these younger swimmers one day, maybe the 2028 games or 2032 games, you never know.
And we're starting in the 11th heat here, David.
Starting with the 11th heat, yep. That's what they've decided to cut off the heats for the faster heats. Slower heats obviously go in the middle session. I'm going through the field very quickly. First heat of this men's 100-metre breaststrokes. Lane number 0, Holmes. Lane number 1, Velick. Next to him is Corbett in 2, Lau 3, Brennan Pretorius of Kilkenny is 4, Jimmy Flynn 5, Leahy of Dolphin 6. Next to him is Bowen. Danilenko in lane number 8, and Kushkin in lane number 9 of Enniskillen. So a real change of event now from a 200 free to the men's 100-metre breaststroke. Breaststroke, a funny stroke. You don't get many breaststrokers, like I said earlier, that will swim other events. Breaststrokers generally stick to breaststroke, but it's all about timing breaststroke. I was never a breaststroker, neither was India. So it's all about timing. It's all about almost not trying too hard. You've got to try almost sort of 95%, because if you try a little bit too hard, you'll just slip water and you'll not move anywhere. So all about power coming from the legs. But right in the middle now, it is the number 4, Pretorius of Kilkenny in that orange hat, trying to hold that glide, coming in the back end of this 100-metre breaststroke, Kieran.
Yeah, and Pretorius is going really well here in lane 5, but he's getting good competition in lane 6 there from Leahy, and it's going to be very interesting to see who wins it. Looks as if Pretorius in 4, just ahead of Leahy in 5, is it? Yeah, just about, David.
Yeah, 1:14.2 from a 1:14.5. Pretorius versus Flynn. That's a good swim from him. But a 2-second PB. Very, very comfortable. Pretorius, though, I would like him, as he follows through in that breaststroke, to get his hands tight together in that streamlined position. Okay, because breaststroke being the slower stroke of the 4, there's so much drag. You've got to try and minimise that drag. Okay, so moving on to the next heat very quickly. This men's 100 metres breaststroke.
And you were just saying there with breaststrokers not maybe competing in other disciplines of the sport. Just for those at home that mightn't know why. Why is that?
I think India will probably agree. I'll get her thoughts in a wee moment, but it's so different to the other events, you know, so there's so much more resistance. The breaststroke kick, so on front crawl and backstroke kick is the same. It's a flutter kick, you know, both legs going up and down. A fly kick is kind of similar. You do a fly kick on every single, you know, underwater turn and stuff. The breaststroke kick you only do on breaststroke. So I think it's and because breaststroke is mainly legs, it's 60-70% legs. If you don't have that kick dialed in and you don't practice it a lot, you'll not be good at it. It's as simple as that. Emily, what do you think?
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Breaststroke is probably one of the most technical, well, it is the most technical of the strokes, to be honest. It comes down to your technique, it comes down to your coordination. So a lot of these swimmers that swim breaststroke are only really going to train breaststroke when it comes to the pool, so they don't have enough time to kind of be focusing on other strokes. And like David said before, breaststroke looks like a very front-loaded stroke, but it's actually not. It comes from the legs, so like 60 to 70% of the drive is coming from that undulation, it's coming from that leg drive. So it's a lot of time spent in the water just really focusing on that breaststroke stroke and that breaststroke kick. But we're actually finishing this second heat coming in really strong. It's pretty much a blank event, but it looks like lane number 3 might just take that touch. So lane number 3, Aidan Mallet of Lisburn, taking the touch in a 1:13.00. So just under his PB there. Actually, a good bit under his PB there, 2.5 seconds below his PB. So strong swim there from the Lisburn swimmer. We've got Aaron Hare of Banbridge. Oh, Aaron Hare of Banbridge taking 1:13.00. That's just his teammate there, or from another northern swimmer up above him. Then we've got Danielle taking the second position, and we are moving on to heat number 13. David, will you take us down through the list of names?
Okay, heat number 13. So this man's 100-meter breaststroke. Quickly through the lanes. Lane number 0, Kurshka. Lane number 1, O'Callaghan. 2, Richmond. 3, Sadamari. 4, Delaney. 5, Karchenko. 6, Laszlo Molnar. 7, Lyshuk. 8, Macomb. And 9, Pinto. Okay, so here we go. That's our list. So nice and tight here. But it's all going to be about streamline. It's all going to be about that first 35 metres. Control it. And then really pick up the pace into this last 50. At the minute, it looks like lane number 5, Karchenko of Banbridge, is going to touch first, or it might be lane 7 actually. No, it is Karchenko in a 33.4, followed by O'Callaghan out in lane number 1 in a 33.5. So field will begin to split now, coming down this second 50 of this 100-metre breaststroke, and you'll really be able to notice the swimmers that are holding their streamline longer than others. At the minute, you can kind of see our leader Karchenko is sort of not really holding out in front. He's opting for a higher kind of stroke rate. Arms aren't staying out in front too long, wasting no time. But he's the fastest qualifier.
And Delaney trying to be a little bit of opposition, but Karchenko is going to take this one. A good swim out in lane 7 there as well from Lyshuk. So really good swim there and a good time, David.
Yeah, 2:10. Sorry, that'd be slow. 1:10.8. Very, very good swim from him. What was his entry time there? 1:14, so that's a big drop from him. Fantastic swim, enjoy those PBs. Fantastic swimming there for him. Like I said, he was just kind of a different stroke where he didn't really hold the glide as much. On the 100 breaststroke, that's kind of common. 2-metre breaststroke, you'll have to hold the glide longer, but see a lot of different strokes on breaststroke.
All right, so we're on to the 14th of 18 heats. And in lane 0 we have Hussam, 1 Foley, 2 Fitzpatrick, 3 Fane, 4 Logan, 5 Davy, 6 Atez, 7 Francis, 8 Hunt and 9 McGrath. So India, this field now, the times you can see are starting to get that a little bit quicker.
Yes, we're moving down to around 1:12 in those centre lanes. So lane number 4, Jake Logan, he is our fastest qualifier in at 1:12.7. So again, like David said, we have a variety of different breaststroke strokes, but lane number 4 really using that leg drive well and shooting forward. I'd like to see him go into that streamline just a little bit more. But lane number 6 and lane number 5 coming out of that breakout just first. Again, they're pretty much neck and neck coming down this last about 30 metres of this race. So again, really using that leg drive, shooting themselves forward. It would be nice to see it lane number 5 just really shooting that head down into those arms, but he's taking it out strong. Lane number 4 coming back as well, so it's pretty much going to be neck and neck between these 4 middle lanes, Kieran.
Yeah, it's neck and neck, as you say, between Davy and Athez coming down the last 5-6 metres. There's good ground also be made by Logan in 4, but it looks as if it might just be Athez, I think. And just about takes it. Really good finish, really good race, and Logan in lane 4 made up good ground at the end.
Yeah, so great swim there from Ryan Aids of Dolphin, 1:10.64. Thomas Davy also 1:10.82. and Jake Logan at 1:11.29. So all three of those boys coming in and breaking their PB in a heat swim. So great swim there. Lads, we're moving on to heat number 15 of this event. Again, our fastest qualifier is down to 1:11, so still looking for some faster swims here before we move on to our seeded heats.
Yeah, so as India said, we are moving on to heat number 15 here. We'll just take a check on the field. In lane 0 is Stratsosov, 1 O'Brien, 2 McDowell, 3 is Hilton, 4 Cowgill, 5 is Morris, 6 Sweeney, 7 O'Brien, 8 Slatter and 9 Garvey. So
Yeah,
David, very balanced so far.
Yeah, balanced so far. I think in the... Oh yes, we've got one more heat until the seeded heat, so expect these swimmers to all be very, very similar before we get into that spearhead formation and the seeded heats. It's very tough to call. It looks like number 327. Well, I'm way off. 27.7, Callum O'Brien. No, surely not 27.7. That's too quick. That's flying. Right. He should be at World Championships going that fast in the first 50. But yes, like I said, I think it's lane number 2, Ryan McDowell of Ards. Looking quite strong, trying to hold that stroke out, but lane number 3, Dominic Hilton of Trojan, looks like a much bigger guy, is kind of just attacking this race really, really well.
It's going to be a really interesting finish, David. It looks as if it's going to be lane number 3. I think it is Hilton that takes this one just slightly in the end. Hilton in lane 3, I think it was, yeah, from lane 8, Slatter. And that was a really good race. You can see from the times there's not much in them at all.
No, not at all. 1:10.6 from him. The next goal for him is to get sub 1:10 and be pushing down into that single digit 1+. So really, really strong swim there. He came back really, really well. But we are into the first of our seeded heats here. Eugene Cook in lane number 4. Strong, powerful breaststroker. You know, was looking for that qualification time for the European Under-23s in April. I think he just missed it in the men's 200 metre breaststroke. So he's more confident on that. But entry time of 1:02.5. So trains out in Edinburgh.
Yeah. Well, we're getting some really good quality races and some good times here, so it'll be very interesting now to see how this one pans out. If you look at the winning times over the last number of races, we've had 1:10, 1:10, 1:10, so it's going to be really interesting to see can this race compete and then what that's going to be like later on.
Absolutely, yeah, running down the field super quickly. Lane number 0, we've got Jordan, 1 Regis, 2 Hughes, 3 Manley, 4 Cook, 5 Hand, 6 Vautier, 7 Harvey, 8 McGinley and 9 Lannon. Like I said, it is going to be Cook ahead. Closely followed, I think, by Matthew Hand, the National Centre Ulster swimmer. Well, he's in 3rd, sorry. Adam Manley, the Lawrence swimmer, is in 2nd position. But expect Cook to hang on here and nobody touch him. Really powerful stroke.
That was a really quick turn at halfway, sub 30 again, so really good start.
Yeah, he's pulling away from the rest of the field like we expected he would. It is Cook. He's in an entry time of 1:02.5. He'll be just around that. He's looking super powerful, keeping the length of the stroke the whole way through. He's going to be right around 1:01, 1:02. It's going to be 1:02.2. I think that's the best time for him. Depending on whether his seeded heat time is his best time or not. So,
That's a big statement there, David.
Real dominating swim, 1:02.2. Sometimes with these entry swims, these entry times you'll see that we have in front of us, they're always not their best times. Sometimes it's the time you've swam that year, or it's strange sometimes, so it's hard to know. 1:02.5, that could be or 1:02.2, that could be a best time for him. So great swim.
A big jump down from what we've been experiencing there in the previous heats, like 8 seconds.
Oh, massively, and expect another drop now. Owen Corby, beast of a swimmer, super powerful. His best time's at 59.
Just looking back there at lane 1, and Register just looks to be very unhappy in the pool down there.
Yeah. So like I said, Owen Corby's entered in a 1:01.0, but he's been at 59.9. I've watched him do it in this very pool.
Well,
so here we go.
How we can do. We'll run through the field for you really quickly. In lane 0 is Van de Beek, 1 is Walsh, 2 Black, 3 Cummins, 4 Corby, 5 Berryman, 6 is Marr, 7 Mulhall. There's nobody swimming in lane 8, and it's Alec George in lane 9. So India, we're looking at maybe a 1 minute time here, or very close to it.
Absolutely, we have the early leader, Owen Corby. We knew he was going to take it out strong, 29.14. I love watching Owen swim. He's so strong. He literally eats up the water as he bounces down that first 50 metres, and he's looking just as strong coming back in this second 50 metres as well. So David said, you know, he swam 59 back in April, so we know that he is a stronger swimmer than his 101 entry time here. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes this last 15 metres. But again, watch him just eat up the water in this last 12 and a half. Probably only going to take about 5 or 6 more strokes to hit the wall, and hopefully he'll just hit it dead on. So watching the clock here, he finishes in a 102.96.
Very good swim, 102.96. And he was challenged all the way there from Berryman in lane 5. So
yeah, we know Morgan Berryman is a very strong breaststroke swimmer as well. I think Owen's definitely got a lot more in the tank now coming into the final session this evening, 102.96. We expect him hopefully to break that 60-second barrier if he comes in for his final swim this evening. But we'll also have Morgan Berryman most likely following in that final swim as well. So we're moving on to the final heat, where we have Oscar Bilbao of Hamilton. He's only 17 years of age and he's coming in a 60.4, so we're going to look for a strong swimmer here.
All right, so we've gone through the field. So the final heat of the men's 100 metre breaststroke. So do you think Oscar could be basking in the glory?
That's awful joke.
Sorry.
Okay. Oscar Bilbao, what a name that is. I love it. And he's got a PB to back it up in a 60.4 from Hamilton Aquatics. So next to him is Cody Dunyan of the National Centre Ulster. More freestyle specialist, but dabbles in breaststroke, which is very unusual. But at the minute it is lane number 5. It looks like Liam O'Connor is looking super strong in this first 50. But I think it's going to be, it is Bilbao. 30.2 from a 30.4 from Dunyan and a 31.1. So expect Bilbao to kind of just, he's got a really unique stroke. He doesn't really hold out and his head comes up super high. So just sort of attacking this back 50.
He's been caught here, David, by O'Connor.
Yeah, these two swimmers pulling away from the field.
Neck here. And it's going to be very interesting. It's also going to be a very interesting battle for the second place between lanes 3 and 6, Dunyan and Cox. But it looks like Bilbao and O'Connor, and I think that might have just been O'Connor. Bilbao, nothing in that.
Yeah, Bilbao in 103.6. You know, a good bit over his best time, but I think he was probably maybe chilling a wee bit. He looked very chill in that first 50, especially out in the 30 point. So there's confirmation of your results on your screen. Bilbao, O'Connor, Cox, Dunyan, your top 4. And we are moving into, I think it is the women's 100 metre breaststroke, yep. And this might be the last individual event of the morning, is it? Before we have relays? Yes, it is. So, last individual event of the morning before we have some relays coming up. And that will conclude our first morning session of this Irish Youth and Senior Championships here in the National Aquatic Centre in Blanchardstown, Dublin.
All right, so let's take a look at the first of the heats. We're starting with heat 9. So Alison Mahan in 1, Sarah McNally 2, Rekha Fabian in 3, Gemma Adams in 4, Rebecca Gillis in 5, Kate Kearns in 6, Jill Connolly in 7, Rachel Whelan in 8, and Holly Marks in 9.
Yeah, it seems to be a slight hiccup here. The swimmers have been asked to stand down, so a wee bit of time. But don't know if any of you folks at home caught the swimming at the World Championships there in Fukuoka in Japan. Mona McSharry, so unlucky to not get a medal on that women's 100 metre breaststroke. If any of you watched the race, I was convinced she was going to get silver 2 metres out. I don't know how she didn't get silver, but you know, she swam a heat time of 105.5, which is a massive best time for her, and one of the fastest swims of all time. So I think she came 5th in the end, but she's a real hunt for the mix for next year at the Olympic Games in Paris. So World Championships starting soon, actually, the final session. But here's heat 1 of the women's 100 metre breaststroke. All these swimmers looking up to Mona McSharry and will want to be like her one day. But Kieran's already gone through the field, so we'll just call this one as it is. So all these swimmers entering sort of times of 1:25s, all very close actually. So expect it to be quite tight the whole way.
Yeah, and it looks, David, as if we've actually got nobody now in lane 2 either. So I think that might be Sarah McNally, maybe isn't in the race. We haven't just got confirmation of that. So we've no one in lane 0, we've no one in lane 2. So it's just 7 in the field. And it looks to be quite tight, with marks going well from Adams just slightly behind her, and then behind them is Fabian.
Yeah,
So
Marks had a fantastic turn there because they were quite close at 50. Marks and Adams, is that? No. It's all over the place, the timing, folks. We're not too sure. The screen at the top here is our big screen at the top, which sort of displays all the times, is got a mind of its own. It's changing every 2 seconds here, but let's just call the race as it is.
I think it's Fabian from Adams, from Gillis. I think it's going 3, 4 and 5, David. There's a strong swim out in lane 8 there from Whelan, and it's going to be really interesting to see who takes between Whelan and between Adam. And it was indeed Fabian who held on at the end.
Yeah, 1:23.0 from a 1:23.4. That's best times there for them girls. Fantastic swim. And yet again, just all these younger sort of swimmers looking for best times and looking to move it on. Finish the season on a good note. There's nothing better than finishing the season with a good swim and going into your break ready for it, and then coming back really, really determined to get even better.
All right, so moving on to the next heat here. This will be heat 10 of 16. And India will run through the field. It's Clodagh Funge in 0, Bridget Kenny in 1, Shannon Baird in 2, Beth Catney 3, Lily Crawford 4, Cara McCormick in 5, Sasha Coleman in 6, Zala O'Connor in 7, Nicole Colfer in 8, and Annie Poots in 9.
Yeah, so our fastest swimmer into this is Lily Crawford, the current swimmer. She is entered in 1:23.86. So like David spoke about before, a lot of these swimmers are just going to look to come in and break their personal best, so they have that kind of motivation to go again in September, because it'll be difficult swimming to get back to into September. So, you know, they're going to be wanting to kick down hard here. So we're coming into the first 50. Looks like lane number 2, Shannon Baird. She's taking the first 50 in a 38.33. So going to want to, again, kind of stick around that pace if she wants to break that entry time of a 1:24.72. But they're looking strong here. Again, we've got a variety of different strokes. Some people keeping their head up. Some people are really diving, using that undulation at the back. So it looks like about 3 swimmers could be taking the touch here. But it's lane number 6 now just taking the lead. She had a strong turn there, Sasha Cole of Athlone.
Yeah,
and her head up as she finishes this last 15 metres.
And as India is saying there, it looks to be in lane 6 going well. Coleman in lane 4 going really well too is Crawford, and it's going to be an interesting finish here. But now making up great ground on the inside is in lane 5 is Cara McCormick. It's going to be really interesting, but I think it's Crawford who takes it just ahead of McCormick. Really good finish to that race, and really good swimming between the 3 lanes. As you can see, not much between them at all. Less than half a second, yeah. Really, really tight.
Absolutely. So our top 3 swimmers there coming in on a 1:22. So again, PBing for all those 3 swimmers. So again, great motivation for them to kind of take their break now after the 5-day event and then come back in September, coming back in strong. We're moving directly on to heat number 11 of 16. So just quickly running down through the names that were just up on screen. So we've got Swinburne in 0, Quinn in lane number 1, Murphy in 2, Joyce in lane number 3, Alex Harrington of Sunday as well. She's our fastest qualifier in this heat, 1:22.5. She goes in lane number 4, Robinson in 5, Daly in number 6, Malcolm in 7, Gray in 8, and Brown in lane number 9.
Yeah, absolutely. So another very interesting field here, as India has just said, and we have some really good competitors, some strong swimmers, and they'll all be hoping to get good times ahead of this evening's final. We're just after seeing a really good race there, a 1:22.42 win for Lily Crawford from lane 4, and going well in this race here is lane 3, Amelia Joyce. And Joyce will be hoping to get a good turn now and push ahead of lane 6, which is Ciara Daly, and it's going to be an interesting race, I think, between Joyce and Daly, but I think Joyce is just shading it, India.
Yeah, Joyce, you'll see in lane number 3, she just took the first 50 there in a 36. You'll start to notice as these heats go on that the stronger swimmers, you start to notice their breaststroke is a lot more level on the surface of the water. So the previous heats, you'll see a lot more bouncing when it comes to their breaststroke. You'll see as the swimmers start to get a little bit faster that they're actually very level with the water, and they're using that leg drive to really push themselves forward. And lane number 3, Joyce, she has that really well, especially in that first 50. So coming into these last about 10 metres, she's still staying strong. Hip drive is still quite good. She just needs to really put her head down and hit the wall strong. She's going to finish here now in a 1:19.67. So over 3 second PB there for Joyce. So fantastic swim from heat number 11.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic race there from Amelia Joyce to win that in 1:19.67. Nearly 3 seconds quicker, David, than the previous heat, Lily Crawford's win in 1:22.42. So that's a really good standard to start this morning.
Yeah, you'll expect that now. As these heats get faster, the times will drop. They'll get faster. Okay, before we get into the fastest qualifiers here, your likes of your Niamh Coynes, Molly Mains, those sort of swimmers that have been established fantastic female breaststrokers in this country for a number of years now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've been treated to a brilliant morning's entertainment here so far at the National Aquatic Centre here in Abbottstown in Dublin. So we are now on to heat 12 of 16, and we'll give you a rundown of the lanes. In lane 0, it's Clara Doherty. 2, Fiona Henderson. 3 is Oled Hannon. 3 is Aveen Ivory. 4, Jane O'Boyle. 5, Jordan Winterback. 6 is Aveen Hegarty. 7, Shauna Murphy. Charlotte Reid in 8, and Michelle O'Shea in lane 9. David, take it away.
Yeah, looks like 4 and 3 here. Stroke for stroke the whole way down the pool. Lane number 1. Eyes have eluded me. Henderson as well. So Henderson from O'Boyle from Ivory. So the first 50 important, but not as important as the back 50. So this is where you've got to begin to try and pick up that stroke rate whilst not slipping water. Very, very tight. And also in lane number 0, Clara Doherty's having a great back half, the Sligo swimmer.
Yeah, we're having a really interesting race here, Dave, between lane 0 and lane 3, and it's looking very much like Doherty and Ivory are going to go head to head, but making up great ground there. In lane 5 as well is Winterback, but I think it is going to be a really interesting finish here, because in lane 0 we have Doherty. I think Doherty's just going to take it ahead of Ivory. It's going to be tight. Doherty did just take it ahead of Ivory. There was nothing much in that.
No, she had a fantastic back half, Doherty. I loved how she held the glide in her stroke, used the streamline and the kick. So Doherty and Ivory, the only 2 to get sub 120s there. Henderson just missing out. But that's got to be the goal for a lot of those swimmers now. Sub 120s on that 100 metre breaststroke. So flying through the heats this morning on the heat number 13. This is the last heat before we get to our seeded heats, I think. Yes, I'm right. So yeah, it'll be much the same. These swimmers looking for best times. They're going to get none of these swimmers entered on a sub 120, so that'll have to be their goal. They need to be out.
Yeah,
37-ish.
So 13th heat of 16. I'll just take a quick run through the field. So in 0, it's Kate McDade. 1, Stacey Tesluk. 2, Julia Warchel. 3 is Holly Clifford. 4 is Rihanna McCormick. 5 is Amy Lynch. 6, Caitlin Butters. 7, Elaine Lund. 8 is Andrea Pagakova, and 9, Quiva Burge. So India, it's going to be another good heat in terms of the time. You can see the entry times are getting that little bit quicker, so we should be expecting a really good race here, particularly between Lynch and McCormick.
Yeah, Rihanna McCormick, our fastest entry time, 1:20.1. So this is going to be one of the biggest barriers for these girls. Well, first biggest barrier for these girls to break is that 1:20 mark. So they want to be bringing it down into the teens. And we've got our first swimmer coming in 36.21. That is Butters in lane number 6. So again, coming in this strong second half needs to be strong if they want to break that 1:20 barrier. But lane number 6 really, really taking it out strong here. Probably about half a shoulder length ahead of the rest of the field. But lane number 7, that is Aline Lund of the NAC. She's catching up on her strong as well, keeping her head down, really driving forward with that leg kick. Pretty much looks like we're evening out this field in the last 5 metres, so it's going to be interesting to see who takes the touch. Can they break that 1:20 barrier?
Yeah, and it looks
like lane number 6 just taking the touch in a 1:19.36, so strong
Butters
in there.
just taking it. So interesting, 1:19.36. So So good swimming there, and it was Butters who took it from lane 6. Did well to hold off all the rest of the competition. Lund with a good swim as well in lane 2. Lane 7, I beg your pardon.
All right, so we move on to the first of our seeded heats. We've got Alwyn Cook. We've got the 20-year-old from Limerick. She has an entry time of a 1:10.7. So much faster heat we're going to go in for now. What kind of times are we looking to go out on the first 50 there, David, if they're looking to break that 1:10?
We're going to break 1:10. They got to be out 33 at the slowest, I think. 33. Mid to high is probably what they need to be to give themselves a chance. Because remember, on breaststroke, it's when you touch the wall, you know, that's when the time stops, but then you've still got to do your turn. So by the time you push off, it's actually a half a second slower. It's not like freestyle or backstroke, where as soon as your feet hit the wall, you're gone. So they've got to be out slightly faster, so 33 mid to low.
And for those at home, David, that when you're saying you have to be out, that's when you got to get hit off the wall.
Sorry, yeah, out. When you talk about being out, that means your front half of your race, first 50, first 100, being out in a certain time.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
If it's a 200 metre event, you'd be out. When you talk about being out, that's the first 100 or the first 50.
Yeah, so it's your split, in other words, isn't it?
Split, yeah, your split
exactly.
time. So
we'll just run through the race really quickly for you. The field, it's McDade in 0, Purcell in 1. It's Kinsler in 2, Jones in 3, Cook in 4, Gardner 5, Brown 6, Hartnett in 7, Kashkoginai in 8, and McMaster in 9. And it looks to be, David, as if it's going to be lane 4 Cook who's going to win this race, getting good competition in lane 5 there from Gardner, and then getting decent competition in lane 3 as well. But she does look quite comfortable here.
She does, yeah. She's entered. I think she's got a University of Edinburgh hat on there. Cook 1:11.95. She's entered in a 1:10, so she'll be looking for sub 1:10 tonight. Race those girls, the likes of Molly Mains, your Niamh Coynes. You know, push you on. Sometimes it's hard swimming on your own when you're that far ahead. I was never far ahead when I raced. I didn't have that luxury. I was always chasing or getting caught.
Deliberately chasing.
Deliberately, yeah, well, I don't know
Not
about that.
deliberately getting caught.
I don't know about that.
All right, okay. Well, you mentioned the University of Edinburgh, so hello to anyone joining us from abroad this morning, or indeed here in Ireland, as we come on to heat 15 of 16, so the penultimate one, as they say. And India, will you take us through the field, please?
Yeah, so the second last heat here, we have Burns in 0, Walker in lane number 1, Noble in 2, Kidney in 3. We've got Molly Main in lane number 4, our fastest qualifier in a 1:10.5. She's just come out of the 200 metre freestyle, so she'll be looking to swim well here in this 100 metre as well. Lane number 5, we've got Doyle in lane number 6, we've got Podostova in lane 7, we've got Richa in lane number 8, McNamara and Matthias in lane number 9. But like we said, Molly Main is the fastest entry time into this penultimate heat. Again, 1:10.5 is her entry time, and it looks like she'll be touching first in this first 50 metres. Strong start there from Molly Main, 34.08.
Yeah, all right. So coming in towards the final quarter of the race now, and it's really tight in that middle third between lanes 3 to 6, and it's going to be very interesting. There's a real emphasis now on just trying to get ahead, and I think it's going to be lane 5 who's just slightly shading it there is Emer Doyle, but she's real good attention in lane 4 from Molly Main. And
yeah,
I think
Emer Doyle really hammering hard on this last kind of 25 metres. Her entry time is a 1:11.5. It looks like she's going to be breaking that just below 1:11.3. So strong swim there from Emer Doyle. Molly Main touching second in a 1:13.10. And we've got Amy Noble of Asgard finishing third in a 1:14.38.
Yeah, another great swim there. So last race 1:11.30, the one before that 1:11.95. It's such a big jump there, David, from 1:11.95 back up to 1:19.36. So really interesting.
Yeah, it's the seeded heats. You get the faster swimmers coming in. And at these competitions, because there's so many juniors, you know, in the old senior swimming, there is a big gap in the slowest time to the fastest time. You wouldn't usually see it some other competitions, but fastest swimmer in this one is Niamh Coyne, established breaststroker, many years now.
All right, so
Going
we just
through the
run.
field. Lane number 0, Olivia Muskelly. 1, Campbell. 2, Maher. 3, Salah. 4, Niamh Coyne, as I said. Kurshka. 5. Lane number 6 is Kira Aiken. 7, Abriel Allende. Lane number 8, Jane Ryan. And lane number 9, Eva Harrington. So calling the race here now. Niamh Coyne out in front, very tall, strong swimmer. 1:11.25 is her entry time. 1:10.5 is her fastest qualifier in a 1:10.5. So she'll be looking for sub 1:10 tonight. Race those girls, you know, push you on. Sometimes it's hard swimming on your own when you're that far ahead. I was never far ahead when I raced. I didn't have that luxury. I was always chasing or getting caught. So So
So what are they going to be out in here, David?
I don't know if Neve will be going for it here, but if she wants to go 108, she's got to be out 32 at least, tonight. So yeah, 32.8's not a bad start for her. 2 seconds clear of the field, roughly.
Yeah, so it is Coyne who's leading us here from lane 4 and being tracked really well now in lanes 3 and 5, and she's getting attention there from Sala and from Kurska, but it is going to be Coyle who's holding on. She's starting to stretch the lead now, and Coyle is going to take this heat, the last one we have here for you.
Yeah, taking it comfortably all of the time for her. Like I said, I'm doing the 108. It's going to be slightly over that. 109.5. Not a bad swim. Not a bad swim there. So good heat swim for Coyne, the National Centre Dublin swimmer. Jade Kershaw in the number 5 got the silver, and Aiken rounded out the field. So that rounds out our individual events this morning. We've got a few relays to bring you. The men's 400 metre freestyle relay and the women's 400 metre freestyle relay. We have 3 heats in each, I think.
Yeah, and I suppose the relays are just such an interesting sport, because although it might not be the same level as the individual, it's just the camaraderie, it's the teamwork, and then of course it's the mistakes that can happen.
Absolutely. The relays probably bring the most atmosphere when it comes to swimming competitions and stuff. Swimming is a team sport in regards to training. You do train with a team, but it's very much an individual sport, because most of the time you spend about 2.5 hours just looking at a black line going up and down the pool. So when you actually get to race as a relay, it really brings that extra drive out of a lot of swimmers, and it brings out that extra kind of competitive edge, because they're not just swimming for themselves, they're swimming for another 3 people on their team. So it always brings an amazing atmosphere. You'll hear the coaches now, you'll hear all the clubs kind of just screaming for each other. So I love watching the relays, and they're really good fun.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant fun, and it's there's so much tactics in it, where you put a swimmer, where you don't put a swimmer, who you match them up against, what you're trying to achieve in terms of the legs of the race. So it can be so tactical. Absolutely,
yeah. So kind of like, I guess in previous years you'd have maybe a strong swimmer at the start. You maybe might have your slowest leg going third, but with the introduction of mixed relays now as well, you kind of have male and female relays. There's so many different tactics that you can take out on a relay now. So you might have, your strongest 2 swimmers at the front, you might have your weaker 2 swimmers at the back, or vice versa. So it'll be interesting to see how the swimmers take it out today. But it's nice to have a couple of relays just to really round off this first session. It'll probably get the atmosphere going here in the NIC.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we should have a full complement of lanes for this initial relay here this morning. So as David has said already, we finished all the individual stuff for this morning, so now she's on to the relays, and as Indy was saying, the atmosphere should just crank up a notch here.
Yeah, relay is the best part of swimming, as India said. It most definitely is, especially this 400 metre freestyle relay. It just happened at World Championships there a few days ago. So relays bring a real different sort of aspect to swimming. You got to be careful that you don't go early before the swimmer in front of you touches the wall. So there's a lot of timing involved, and sometimes emotions are high and it's hard to keep your head, but really interesting. And just talking about that before we go through the field quickly, at the World Championships, the British team got disqualified because the last swimmer, Jacob Whittle, went slightly early, 0.0 something of a second early. They got disqualified, they weren't in the final, and they would have got a silver medal. So, these swimmers, I think this is a heat declared winner. So they'll be going for it here, but you've got to time it, and you cannot go early when the swimmer in front of you is coming up. But it is lane number 7. Lisburn out at 26.0. We're unsure of the individual swimmer names, but this is the best event in swimming, the 400 metre freestyle relay.
Alright, so Lisburn in lane 7, as David has said, is just leading slightly. Good competition here in lane 0. I think it's from the other Lisburn team, David. So it's looking like a 1-2 for Lisburn so far in this race.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that.
I'm not sure who that is. It could be Adam Colgan leading out, 53.2. Watch them fly in the air. They'll watch the swimmers as they come in, and in they go. Okay, the cameraman's going to have a tough job keeping everything in shot here.
Yeah, so
big gap already.
Yeah, so Lisburn B are starting to catch up on Lisburn A, but just as I say that, there's strong swimming coming in lane 3 from Sligo, but it's still Lisburn way out in front in lane 7. I think they're going to be definitely taking a 1-2 here. So Lisburn, Sligo going well in lane 3, but it is going to be Lisburn. In fact, it's going to be a really interesting finish here between the two Lisburn swimmers.
Yeah, they're way ahead. They're going to win. We still have 2 more legs, but you will never get the excitement and you'll never get the thrill when you're swimming as you will when you're swimming in a relay. There's nothing like it. Andy, I'm sure you've swum in many relays.
Absolutely. I think, like I said earlier, a relay just brings out that extra competitive edge in you. I'd say a lot of these swimmers here, I know they still have that flying start, so it's not a usual start that these swimmers would have, but a lot of these swimmers will actually PB when it comes to the relay, so they'll be going faster than they would usually swim in an individual event. And whether that's from a flying start, whether that's just an extra bit of grit and determination when it comes to the relay, because they don't want to let their team down, it's always fascinating swimming. But it is the 2 Lisburn teams that are taking the lead coming into this 3rd leg. Lisburn's always been a very strong freestyle team, as is anyways. We've always had very strong front crawl swimmers coming out of Lisburn City, and they're really proving that as they come into this final leg of the men's 400 metre freestyle relay. This is only heat number 1 though, so we've got 2 more heats to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you've said, it's the 2 Lisburn teams that are going really, really well. Sligo still prodding along there in lane 3, but I think it's all about Lisburn so far. And as we approach the final leg, it's going to be very difficult to see anyone overturning Lisburn side in lane 7.
Absolutely, and if any young swimmers are watching this as well, it's very important for them to watch these kind of flying starts as well, because like David said, that British team getting disqualified to him just from a slight early start. So it is, a lot of these swimmers, again, they focus on their individual events when it comes to training, but they also do have to practice these kind of team events as well and make sure that their takeovers are on point. Everyone needs to know how each of their swimmers actually swims. Do they take that extra stroke coming into the wall? Do they glide into the wall? They need to know these tactics from the other swimmers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lisburn now in lane 7 are probably going to win the race, but there's a really interesting battle here in lane 0 between Lisburn's B and Sligo in lane 3, and Lisburn just getting the better of that one as well. But it is going to be Lisburn A who win it away out in lane 7, followed there by Lisburn B in lane 0 and Sligo in lane 3. Watch out for lane 1 too though. Sean O'Connor going really well, but there's really interesting swimming going on here. Lisburn have won the race in lane 7, and it looks as if they're going to come in second as well in lane 0 from Sligo in lane 3, but there's a really interesting...
Yeah, good swimming there from Lisburn. A and B teams going 1-2 in this first heat here. 3:33 and 3:44, so the A team obviously extremely dominant there. Still a couple of swimmers finishing off, but we still got 2 more heats, so keep an eye on that time of 3:33. Remember that, folks. That's currently number 1. All right, so that's currently in gold medal position. So we'll see if people can get faster than that. You know, so it's interesting. It's heat declared winner. I assume it's heat declared winner. It usually is at these Irish competitions. You know, your world championships and things like that, you'll have heats and finals. But coming in there to the field was Mallow in a 4:30.
So David, for those at home that mightn't just understand a heat declared winner, you're talking about all the heats and then the quickest time wins the medal.
Yeah, so generally, usually in swimming you have heats and you'll progress to finals tonight, like we've been talking about all morning. But a heat declared winner is when the heat is just the winner. So whoever's fast in the heats wins. They'll do it sometimes with relays or more distance events like the 800 and the 1500 meter freestyle at these competitions, because you know, doing 2 1500s or 2 800s is very, very tough on the body. So that's pretty much what that means. So the fastest swim here, so you can win your race here, win your heat, but not win the gold medal technically. So 3:33 is the number to keep an eye on. And going on this one, we have lane number 0, Sundays Well, 1, Coolmine Swim Club, 2, Sundays Well, A team, 3, Trident Swimming Club, A team from Aer Lingus, the A team from ESB, the A team from Banbridge is in 6, Galway A team is in 7, the Dolphin B team and Athlone B team are in 8 and 9. So the faster they've sort of seeded this, expect Aer Lingus to have a strong team. As India said earlier, they're more known for their distance freestyle events, but everyone loves a sprint, don't they? So no lane 7, it looks like. I think that was Galway A team. So only the one team not here.
All right, so here we go. So it's the second heat, as David was saying, the heat time final. So heat declared winner. Whoever wins the heat will win it. India, what do you make of it so far?
Yeah, so it's going to be anyone's game here for the first kind of 100, first 200. So it'll be after probably the second leg that we'll start to see who's really pulling away. But we had a really strong swim in that first heat. Like we said, Lisburn coming in at 3:33.46. So that's the kind of advantage, I guess, to these swimmers coming into the second heat and the third heat is that they know what won the previous heat, so they know what kind of splits that they need to be doing. But it does look like those middle lanes are already taking this first leg. So again, like I said, probably the second leg is what's going to dominate the field here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so far it looks to be a really tight battle there in lanes 4 and 5 between Aer Lingus and ESB. So that's going to be an interesting turnover here when they swap in their teammates. And coming well in lane 6 also is Banbridge. So it's really tight so far between ESB, between Banbridge and Aer Lingus.
Yeah, so we had our first swimmer there come in lane number 5. That was from ESB, my old club. So hopefully they keep it up, lads. Keep it going, ESB. But yeah, it looks like lane number 4 is just taken over there. That's Aer Lingus. So David called it earlier. Aer Lingus, they are a very strong kind of distance from Cull event, but definitely when it came to relays, we definitely noticed in the past that Aer Lingus held a lot of the kind of Irish senior records and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see that they're taken out here on the second heat of the men's 400 metre freestyle. But you can start to hear that atmosphere really start to pick up again as well. All the coaches and all the swimmers getting behind their swimmers as well. So let's keep it going for this third and fourth leg. Yeah,
so it's Aer Lingus who still lead in lane 4 there, followed by lane 5. It's ESB and Banbridge in 6. The rest of the field just slightly falling behind, but there's really good swimming taking place here in lane 6 from Adam Wilson of Banbridge, and he's starting to close the gap a little bit there on lane 5's ESB's Ray O'Shea. And the new swimmers are in, and away we go. It's still Aer Lingus leading, and the front three just nice and tight, but it's Aer Lingus who have the advantage.
Yeah, these takeovers now are so important, so there is only like slight differences separating, say, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5. We do have a clear winner here at the moment in lane number 4, that's Aer Lingus, so let's see if they can maintain that lead as they come down into this final third leg. It's usually, sometimes they send off their weakest swimmer on this third leg, so it'll be interesting to see who can gain a little bit of ground. We're coming on to the second 50 here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's still Aer Lingus who have the lead, and they've been followed in lane 6 by Banbridge and Matthew Rice. Ewan McLeod of ESB in lane 5 has just fallen away slightly. It's still Aer Lingus in 4 from Banbridge in 6. And we've great in lanes 1, 2 and 3. It's fierce tight.
Yeah, so we've got Aer Lingus taking the touch on this third leg. Their split is a 2:46.92. So again, I think they'll be above that Lisburn time. Lisburn again in the previous heat of a 3:33.46. So they need to be doing exceptional swims here if they want to beat that time. But Aer Lingus taking the lead in lane number 4, Banbridge in lane number 6, and ESB following in lane number 5.
Yeah, Banbridge are pushing Aer Lingus all the way, India. That's a really good finish, and off the wall will be very important here.
Absolutely. I think Aer Lingus have this touch here. They are swimming out their own, so all they need to do is just put their head down, kick their legs, and touch the wall strong. With Banbridge have got a little bit of an advantage because they can try and catch. I don't think they'll be able to catch in this last 50 metres, but they'll be posting a strong time towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks as if, as India was saying, Aer Lingus are going to hold on. Banbridge are going well in lane 6, but it is going to be Aer Lingus, I think, who are taking it. Keep a look on the clock. It's 3:34. It's going to be too slow, I think, this one, but Aer Lingus will eventually take this heat, and it will be Banbridge who come in second. But the time was way behind there, India.
Yeah, so a good bit slower from our second heat. So again, Lisburn in that first heat, 3:33.46. Aer Lingus taking the win in that second heat of a 3:42.61. So we do have our clear winners so far for these heat declared winners of the men's 400 metre freestyle, but we still do have one heat to go, so it's still anyone's game in this third heat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we've got Limerick coming up. Just looking at the team sheet there. Team sheet. It's been a long morning, folks. Give me a break. We've got Finn McGeever, Dermot Sutton, Conor Fitzgerald, Jeremy Bagshaw. So they're 4 fast freestylers. So expect them to probably take the win here, I think. Relays always great. Swimmers always get up for it. You always swim faster on relays, like India said. You know, some swimmers, their best times are. It doesn't count on a relay because you're doing a flying takeover. You know, you almost get a momentum head start. But my fastest relay split was almost just 2 seconds faster than my individual time. So, you know, so swimmers do find something more sometimes for the relays. So Limerick will be the ones to watch here, definitely. Ours above them as well. Should have a strong team, as well as the NAC just below.
Do you ever think, David or India, when you're talking about your relay times being quicker, because I think it happens across an array of sports, do you ever think that's because you're not waiting for a buzzer to go or a gun to go, and you can actually time by the eye.
Yeah, well, I mean, your relay split will start when the swimmer in front of you that you're taking over from touches the wall. So if you're able to time it, your feet just have to be on the block. It doesn't matter if you're pretty much gone, as long as your feet are on the block and before they've touched, then you're fine. So if you time it well, you can almost get a second head start than what you usually have. So that obviously contributes to it. But and as well, it's just that you're more relaxed on a relay. You're always more relaxed than you are an individual. There's less pressure. You don't put as much on yourself. So you're swimming for other people.
You're probably swimming for someone else. Yeah, exactly, as opposed to yourself. So far we have Lisburn, who've come in at 3:33.46. Aer Lingus then in the second heat at 3:42.61. And at the moment, Larne are leading here.
Yeah, Lauren from lane number 6 there. Do they have their swimmer on it? They do. Thomas Leggett, fast junior swimmer. Well, he's not junior anymore, I don't think. But high enough stroke rate. I think his best time's maybe a 51 or a 52. But Lauren coming in strong. Leggett, he's going to be a 52 flat for Leggett. But expect Limerick to close now. Dermot Sutton is a phenomenal 50-metre freestyler. So look at his rate going. The green hat in the middle. Fast rate. Don't expect him to hang on as well, though, as he is a 50-metre specialist.
Some ground we made up in lane 4 here. It's Limerick and Dermot Sutton going really well, and Limerick have now, I think, overtaken Larne as they turn around. Yeah, they have indeed. So Limerick have overtaken them. A really good start from Larne, as David was saying, but Limerick now holding the lead just ahead.
Yeah, it'll be if Sutton can hang on. He's not known for his 100-metre freestyle, but he's given it a hell of a shot. This back 25 is all about legs, giving your teammates, the best chance to take over.
This is some swim here from Coolmine as well, and Coolmine are being really challenging Limerick and going well. Then in lane 6 is still Larne, so going to be very interested to see now on this third leg of the sprint how we go. Good swimming here in lane 1 as well.
Fantastic takeover from Coolmine. I'm just going to see who that was. Coolmine.
And they've gone in front now, David.
They've gone in front.
Changed 3 times.
Yeah, it's all about timing that takeover and carrying your momentum down this first 50. Let the energy carry you down the first 50 to the turn. Lane number 5, though, it's very, very tight between Coolmine and NAC at this moment in time. They're definitely swimming at maybe a higher level.
Look at this in lane 0 here. It's Hamilton going really well. They're starting to make up great ground.
They are.
The main action still is in the central channels, though, between lanes 4 and 5, and it is Limerick and the National Aquatic Centre going really well, but Hamilton are catching, and lane 1 going really well is Coolmine. We're going to have a very interesting final leg here, David.
Yeah, I thought Limerick would be higher up than they are, so we'll have to say at the minute now it is the NAC have came into the lead. The lead switching 2 or 3 times here. Great underwater there from the Limerick swimmer. He's taking the lead. So important, those transitions. You can gain 2-3 seconds with good transitions. So it's going to be super hard to call here.
You can really feel the atmosphere building. You can feel the tension just getting a little bit tighter, and we have a 4-way swim off here in lanes 5 and 6. It's NAC and Limerick, and in lane 0 and 1 we have Hamilton and Coolmine. There's your man back in the pool, Oscar Bilbao. He's making up really good ground for Hamilton, and Limerick going well. It's actually going to be a race now on the inside, David, I think, between lane 0 and lane 1. It's going to be Hamilton and Coolmine, but look out for lane 4 still with Limerick going well. It's going to be a really interesting finish. Limerick just seem to have found the extra kick. Limerick looking just to hold on from Coolmine. It might be Limerick. Really good swimming from Hamilton in lane 0, but I think Limerick have just got it. Limerick got it in a 3:30.22. That was a real exciting swim, and like we said before, Lisburn were 3:33. So Lisburn are out of the medals. So they led after the first heat, they led after the second heat, and now Limerick, Hamilton, Coolmine take the medals. So 3:30, very, very close. That was an exciting race, that. And it just shows you how the lead can change from leg to leg, from swimmer to swimmer, how important those takeovers, transitions are. With Jeremy Bagshaw on the back end there, just had too much legs, and he pulled away. Actually comfortable enough in the end by almost a second. So exciting, that race. Now Hamilton got disqualified. The Hamilton A team DQ. So that'll be a swimmer that will have gone early. So he'll have gone before the swimmer in front of him has touched. So he'll be so careful, because these electronic pads pick it up.
You know, you'll be able to go on the Meet Mobile or whatever, the Swim Ireland website, and you'll be able to see what the reaction times were, and you're allowed minus 0.04 is what you're allowed. If you go minus 0.05, so they give you 0.04 of a second. If you go minus 0.05, you're out. So sometimes it's worth it to push the takeover and try and go early and time it well, but sometimes it's not worth it. So at the end of the day, they're out. So I think that was the only. There was 3 DQs there. I think there might have been. So exciting one, but on to the women's now.
Yeah, all right. So it's the first of the women's 4x100 metre freestyle heats. So India, take us through the field, please.
So in heat number 1, we have lane 0, Terenure Swim Club. Lane number 1, we've got Swim Belfast. Lane number 2, we've got Sligo Swimming Club. In lane number 3, we've got Mallow Swans. Lane number 4, Bangor Swimming Club. Lane number 5, we've got Dolphin. Lane number 6, we've got Lisburn City Swimming. In lane number 7, we have got Shark. In lane 8, we've got Templeogue. And lane number 9, we've got Terenure, their B team as well. So again, these girls are going to be looking to post a fast time. We still have 3 heats in this women's 4x100 metre freestyle. Like David said earlier, it is heat declared winner. So amongst these 3 heats, all of these girls are looking for the fastest time. So it really is just about pushing themselves. Lane number 2 looks like she's taking the lead. So that is Sligo Swimming Club out on 28.46. So strong start for the Sligo swimmers. And again, they'll be looking to post the fastest time in this heat if they want to go for that medal in the heat declared winner position of the women's 4x100 metre freestyle.
All right, so we have the early lead, I think, is going to be for lane 2, and that's Sligo again. And Sligo then being followed in lane 8.
Yeah, so we have an early leader there, Sligo, 59.52, so strong start for the Sligo team. Again, just taking out different tactics amongst all of these teams, whether they're going to send their strongest swimmer first, whether they'll send their strongest swimmer last. But it looks like Sligo have got the clear lead coming into this second leg. We've got lane number 8. We have Templeogue taking second position at the moment, but we've got a strong swim as well coming from lane number 1, 2. That is Swim Belfast. So it'll be interesting to see after this second leg who's going to be dominating the field.
Yeah, and still going well in lane 2 is Sligo. In lane 8, Terenure. There's a really interesting swim between lanes 2 and 8. So Sligo and Terenure have the advantage as we're about to hand over here. Halfway there, and it looks to be Sligo and Terenure. There's been good ground made up in lane 6 by Lisburn, and then in lane 7 starting to catch them. But it's going to be very interesting. Last 200, India.
Absolutely, we've had a change in position, so we had a strong start from the Sligo team there in lane number 2, but Templeogue are taking the lead as they come into this third position. Again, Templeogue are a very strong relay team as well. They're led by Brian Sweeney out in Templeogue. So let's just see what the third swimmers can do and who's going to hold the field as they come into the final position. But lane number 2 also taking it as strong again. Sligo trying to claim some ground back on the Templeogue swimmer. It looks like it's going to be neck and neck as they come into this first 50 split of the third leg. And we have got Templeogue still just slightly in the lead by about half a second. So it's going to be neck and neck between these 2 girls to take heat number 1 of the girls 4x100 metre freestyle.
Yeah, so as Indy was saying, it's a real battle here in lane 8. Templeogue, Terenure in lane 0 trying to make a little bit of ground. Lane 2 going really well still are Sligo, and it's still Sligo. And in lane 6 making good ground as well as Lisburn. Shark in 7. In 1. Good racing again. We're into the last one now, and it looks to be Sligo are going to hold on maybe.
Absolutely, we saw Lisburn take a really strong lead from the men's 4x1, so it'd be interesting to see if they can gain some ground as they come into this final leg. Strong stroke right there from lane number 6, but it does look like Sligo has really powered out onto this last leg of the 4x100, the first heat. If you can turn well and maintain this, I think Sligo might be taking this first heat.
Yeah, so still Sligo, Templeogue. In lane 6 is Lisburn. Shark coming back into it as well, but it's going to be a really interesting finish here between lane 2 and lane 8, and that's between Sligo and Templeogue, and it looks as if it's going to be Templeogue now seem to have the advantage actually, and in lane 6 it's still Lisburn, and it is Templeogue. I think it's going to be a win for lane 8, India.
Yeah, I think Templeogue are going to take the lead now. So it's been a great race between these three teams, between Lisburn, between Sligo and Templeogue. But it looks like Templeogue is just taking these final 5 metres. Their entry time, their finish time is going to be a 4:09:21. Sligo, I think we're going to have a change in time there. 3:49:14. I think that was an early finish there from Sligo. Someone else touching the pad. We'll just wait for the official results to pop up on screen now, folks.
Interesting there, yeah. 4:09, I think.
Yeah, if we look up at the big screen here, Sligo won 3:49:1. Looks like Templeogue is second. Yeah, Templeogue second, 4:09:2. And then Lisburn 4:13. So 3:49 is your time to beat, I think, or is that too quick?
I think Templeogue touched on a 4:09, so I think it might have been an early finish.
Oh, right, okay, sorry, apologies, folks. Templeogue and a 4:09 is the time to beat.
I was thinking there wasn't 20 seconds.
Yeah, I was just, as I said that there, I was like... All right, so 4:09 time to beat. Time on board playing tricks.
I know it's early in the morning, but I definitely knew there wasn't 20 seconds in those two finishes, so thankfully the coffee's kicking in. All right, so we have the next heat now coming up. This is heat 2 of 3, and we'll just take a look through the lanes for us, starting in lane 0, David. Limerick, Larnham 1, Trident in 2.
Yeah,
Glasnevin in 3.
Yeah.
Aer Lingus 4, Dolphin 5, Swim Belfast I think in 6, Galway 7, Athlone 8, and in 9 I think it's Mallow in 9 actually.
All right, here we go. Heat 2. So the time is 4:09 to beat. Okay, so we're keeping an eye on that. Started this women's 400 metre freestyle relay. If you call it the World Championships, the Australian women's team won that gold in that with another world record. So Australian women's, if you want a real lesson in female sprinting, freestyle sprinting, just look at the Australians. They're unbelievable. They always win. Incredible for a population that doesn't have a crazy amount of people. They're always up there. But in the lead currently, lane number 4, Aer Lingus looking strong, and a few lanes above them in lane number 7 it is Galway. So expect the lead to change a number of times because of these, like I said in the men's, differing transitions, and a swimmer can sometimes touch first and come out last. It's very interesting. Great takeover from lane number 4 there, leapt like a salmon into the water. Great turnover. So Aer Lingus looking like the early dominators here. Big leg kick early doors.
Yeah, so it's Aer Lingus out in front and getting close attention in lane 5 from Dolphin. But it's Aer Lingus as we come to the turn in this second leg, who lead from Dolphin. And in lane 6 going well. But it's still Aer Lingus from Dolphin.
Yeah, Aer Lingus looking strong. Who's not sure the swimmer's in here. Does it say on our sheet? It doesn't. So, yeah, the battle here now, it's all about getting the time. Okay, so above Aer Lingus there, you've got Dolphin on Sunday as well, looking to post a strong time before this last heat goes in the water. Wee bit deep on that takeover there from the Aer Lingus swimmer, but they've got a commanding lead, and you know, it's long enough. 4 swimmers, tough enough for clubs to put together 4 really good swimmers. You know, so once you get them, you'll get different clubs will go through waves of having really strong freestyle teams, really strong medley teams, and then maybe not for a few years. So the time to beat is a 4:09. They're looking pretty good here. Okay, holding that lead.
Yeah, so the time to beat is Templeogue's 4:09:14, and at the moment Aer Lingus doing quite well. The turn there was 2:34:52, so going all right with a leg and a half to go. But it is Aer Lingus. In lane 5, it's still Dolphin. Lane 6 then, Sunday's Well. And it looks to be as if it's going to be Aer Lingus, Dolphin and Sundaswell competing for second in this heat. And it looks to be Dolphin just slightly pulling ahead of Sundaswell as Aer Lingus slightly pull ahead of them. And we're approaching the...
Tight enough takeover there from Sundaswell Simmer, but I think she'll be okay. But Dolphin they're not giving up just yet. She's flying here, Dolphin Swimmer. Who's that?
Dolphin starting to catch really well here on Aer Lingus. Really starting to go, and Sundaswell starting to make up really good ground in lane 6 as well. It's going to be an interesting finish, but Dolphin have really caught up here with Aer Lingus, and that's going to be an interesting turn here, David, when they come off the wall.
Yeah, I tell you what, Dolphin have caught up massively. They're under second off now, just over a second, excuse me. Dolphin, I expect to take the lead here, so it just shows you how the leads can change with different strengths of swimmers and different legs. India mentioned earlier that, you know, you may put your fastest swimmers at the end or the front, tactics change, but Dolphin are in the lead now. That's all about the time. 4:09 is the time to beat. I don't think they're going to do it.
There's time for Dolphin, they can do it.
But here we go all the way into the finish.
4:06, 4:07, 4:08, are they just out of luck?
Ooh.
Just out of luck.
4:09.24, I can't remember, was 4:09.21 was the time, the fastest time from the first heat. So they're by 3/100ths of a second, they're now in silver position. Wow, that was tight.
So Templeogue, I think, just have it, just slightly.
Templeogue have it by 0.03 of a second, so as it stands, we've still got one more heat. Okay, so and there's some fast swimmers in there. We've got the likes of Lauren, Leander, the NAC coming up, so there's confirmation of your results. Dolphin, Aer Lingus, Sundaswell, 4:09.24 and 4:10.65. The top two are going to be flirting with the medals at the moment, but expect that to change by the end of this one.
That was some swim by Dolphin there, David. They made up serious ground.
Yeah, just it's hard from all of us watching here. We're watching in the stands, and all you folks watching at home, to know what strengths different teams have. You know, we don't know, so you're sort of eyeballing what you think's going to happen. So Dolphin had a phenomenal back half swimmer there, so came through just missing out in that goal spot. So our last race of the morning heats, women's 4x100 meter freestyle, heat 3.
All right, so we'll just run through the lanes in this last of the heats here. So in lane 1, Sundaswell, 2 is Asgard, 3 in lane 0, Sundaswell, 1 is Asgard, 2 National Aquatic Centre, 3 is Leander, Noan in 4, and 5 is Larn, Trojan in 6, Limerick in 7, New Ross in 8, and Banbridge in 9.
Yes, we've had 2 very fast heats so far. Again, just 3/100ths of a second separating the top 2 teams. So again, Templeogue coming in a 4:09.21 and Dolphin coming in second heat in a 4:09.24. So again, we'll be looking for a fast swim from heat number 3. We've got our first leader coming in of those first 50. That is lane number 3. So that is, lane number 2. That's the NAC starting with a very strong start of a 28.08.
That's a really strong start, India, because they're trying to chase down a time of 4:09.14, so really good start there.
Absolutely. So 4:09, that's probably going to be averaging around a 1:02, 1:01 high for each of the swimmers in the previous leg. So if any of these swimmers can kind of drop below that 60-second mark and then kind of give the average a better shout for the rest of their teammates, then we should be looking for a faster time than a 4:09. So first swimmers coming in here, again, just hitting that 60-second mark, so 60.07. That's the NAC coming in that top position. So if more of their teammates can hit that time, we're going to be expecting a faster swim than a 4:09.
Yeah, absolutely. So really good swimming here. And it is lane 2 who have the advantage. That's the National Aquatic Centre, Gardner leading them, and followed closely by lane 1, it's Asgard. And in lane 0, Sundaswell. Going also really well in lane 3 is Leander, but it is still the lead for the NAC. And they're being caught now, though, in lane 0 by Sundaswell. I think Sundaswell are just going to move into the first position here, India.
Absolutely, yeah, they have a strong second swimmer here. Again, there's no point calling who we're going to think is going to take the lead, because we just saw in that previous heat, Aer Lingus the strong swimmers for the first 3 legs, and then Dolphin really smashing it on that last leg. So we do have our lane number 0 really dominating this second leg, so that's Sundaswell. NAC still holding on strong. Let's have a look at the splits now and see what time these girls are going to be making. And we have a 2:00.80, so still a very strong start from these first two swimmers. They're maintaining that average a good bit below that 4:09, so let's see what the third swimmers can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's still Sundiswell going well in lane 0. In lane 2 is the NAC. In lane 1, just slightly behind them then is Asgard. Going well though in lane 5 are Larne, but it's still Sundiswell who are going to lead just at the turn here. Sundiswell from the NAC and Asgard also. Larne going well, but it is Sundiswell from the NAC, and the two of them seem to be starting to really pull away here, Sundiswell and the NAC.
Absolutely, Sundiswell have sent two strong swimmers in their second and third legs, so they're really hammering down home. Nice to see how they do now coming into this fourth leg. So we've had some strong swims in the previous two heats. Looks like our split is just going to be above that 3-minute mark, so pretty much giving around a 1:06 for this final swimmer to beat that 4:09, and I think Sundiswell might just take that time. So let's see how strong the NAC can stay alongside them.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sundiswell still have the advantage, and they are leading the NAC, so it's lane 0 and lane 2 that you need to be looking out for. Coming really strongly though in lane 5 is Larne, and they're being matched all the way in lane 6 from Trojan, but it is still Sundiswell and the NAC going well in lane 0 and lane 2. It's going to be very interesting now when they hit the wall, which both teams have done just now. 5 and 6 between Larne and Trojan going well, but it is still Sundiswell from the NAC. Sundiswell in lane 0 on this near side going well, and it is the NAC, and in the central channels then Larne and Trojan, but it's Sundiswell as we come into the last 25 metres of this race. It's Sundiswell. They're slightly tiring though.
Absolutely, I'm just scanning across the field. I think the only competitors that Sundiswell have are the NAC, but they look to be tiring up themselves. So Sundiswell just needs to hold on for this last 5 minutes. She just puts her head down. I think she's going to be smashing that 4:09, and she does. She touches in a 4:03.18. NAC coming in at a 4:0551, and Larne taking third position in a 4:0612. So we had our top 3 teams finishing off the 4x100 metre freestyle relay in this third and final heat.
Absolutely brilliant, fantastic swimming there in lanes 5 and 6 from Trojan and Larne as well to catch up with the NAC. So really good conclusion to that race.
Absolutely. Again, we kind of said it earlier that heat number 3 does have that clear advantage, kind of seeing the previous 2 heats to see what time they have to beat, but Sundiswell just seemed like that little bit faster when it comes to the average amongst all 4 swimmers, so I think they knew that they had a strong swim there. It's a decent swim for them from the outside lane as well. You know, it's like we kind of spoke about before, especially within a relay, it's nice to kind of have that competition around you, and it really does push you along, especially in regards to just getting those faster swims. But Sundiswell kind of just took it out on their own. They maintained that lead from the pretty much the second leg and maintained it for the rest of the race. So strong swim there from Sundiswell.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sundiswell with 4:03.18. They are the quickest of the heats. Templeogue with 4:09.14 from the first heat, and the second one was 4:09.24 from Dolphin. So great swimming there from Sundiswell.
Yeah, and that concludes our racing for this morning. Morning heat. So a lot of those swimmers now will be in the finals for this evening. We have a midday session starting. That session starts at 12:20. They're subject to potentially change depending on warm-ups, etc. But 12:20 that'll start, and that'll run right the way through to 3:30 before we're back for finals tonight from 5:30. So hope you enjoyed this morning, day 1 of this 5-day meet, concluding the Irish swimming calendar. As you can see, swimmers jumping in already for the warm-up. So thank you everyone for watching.
Well, that's where we leave it for now. My thanks to David and to India, and we'll see you for the midday session in just over an hour's time.